We're in.
I continue that in a second here. First, let's intro this game.
So here we are, game number 1, Viper against DeMusliM. This is a best of 5, and it looks like Viper has started this out with the Abbasid, and DeMusliM is going to be playing as the English.
All right, game number 1 of the best of 5. Anyway, long story short, I was watching, I didn't know how long we were going to fill. I was watching Viper, and I wanted to learn how to stay alive in Feudal. What does he do? He was playing Chinese on Danube River. He goes to Castle Age, no units at all, makes 1 nested beast, and then a keep in his opponent's base. I'm like, this doesn't work!
He's always looking, though, he's always looking for that one thing to give him just enough time to get to that next stage of the game, right? Or to get that fortification up on the hill, or to secure that extra point. And he's counting on his enemies to overinvest in something.
Sure.
Well, he's going to be sitting back there being very, very greedy. So Viper has a distinct playstyle, but it's something that's really hard to kind of peg down and identify unless you've watched hundreds of games of his.
I think that's very fair to say, and you've set the stage well for what we can expect, or don't know what to expect from Viper in this game. A little bit more love to DeMusliM as well. This Englishman, who now lives in Sweden, is playing as the English. And the map is Altai. This is pretty much the most default map imaginable for English. They like the features that there is a short rush distance from one side of the map to the other. And they like that wood lines are fairly harassable in general. There's 2 sturdy patches of wood, and chances are that your opponent has a patch of wood that they're harvesting from. But with some longbow pressure, you can really start to deny their wood income quite a bit, with disastrous consequences sometimes.
I think it's also a little bit good for them that all the pressure is likely to come from one area. They can focus on one area of the map, and they don't have to be concerned about mobility,
right,
you know, from the enemy raids coming in. Like, let's say if he wants to secure some of his economy down in the south, he can simply drop a wall there, right, later on in the game, and then he can focus on his own raiding rather than his opponent coming in with a couple cavalry. But we see him going for the Council Hall, no surprise there, and Viper will be on the way to the next age. And what is he going to open with? Is he going to go for another town center there? That is on gold, that's not stone, okay.
Yeah, so we look at Viper's economy, and he's got a bit of gold. How many do we have on gold? 3. So 3 generally signifies either you go wheelbarrow with a 30-40 second delay on fresh foodstuffs, or you go fresh foodstuffs with a 30-40 second delay on wheelbarrow. Both works. Generally, if you've got 4, you can sneak in wheelbarrow and have an immediate fresh foodstuffs. If you've got 3, you're doing it like the last thing I said before that. So why does this matter? Well, it's interesting. Every civilization can have a kind of streamlined build order to make a bunch of units as quickly as possible and then rush your opponent at them. But you'll run out of steam. If you have an uneconomic opener, you can get 5 longbows on the field real fast. But after that, you run out of steam. So wheelbarrows are a kind of artificial delay in the beginning of your aggression. But once you get going, you've got a little bit more fuel. You can go a bit further. Once you start longbows, although they are later, you can have more of them. You have a stronger but later attack. Trying to figure out these timings, a lot of it is what is your opponent used to? What are they putting you on? What are they expecting? And you try to throw them off kilter like this. So
Viper, what is his opening going to be? Is he going to go into Horseman with Abbasid here and try and counter the longbows that he thinks are coming? Or is DeMusliM going to throw him a curveball?
He's accumulated over 150 wood, so he can start a unit production facility, and he has done so. Looks like
it's going to be archery range, okay.
Okay. And he's got plenty of lumber still. It can be double range, 1 archery range and a bunch of archers. He can start a mixture of units. Viper he feels very middle of the road to me often, until he, suddenly makes a decision.
Until he's not, yeah.
Yeah. Like, you'll always see Viper with 1, 2, or 3 villagers on gold, 2 on stone. He's not someone that takes 6 on stone and then takes them all off and puts them somewhere else. He's always got a trickle of everything coming in as he scouts the lay of the land.
And it's going to be a second archery range as well. So Viper not going for that second TC with Abbasid. He's going an outpost at the front, and that's going to add to his building count as well. So he's going to make his way up to golden age, and then second archer range, so increased production here. It's going to be a little bit of aggression from Viper as the longbowmen are already on the way across the map from DeMusliM, and he's not even waiting to group them. He just sees that outpost, and he's like, I need to get some hits in before that thing is up.
Takes 9 shots to kill a villager. The scout softened 1 villager up already. Viper cleverly pulls the hurt ones back, and 2 villagers complete the job. Outpost finished. Outpost can be outranged by longbows, but it requires 500 shots to take it down. Not a campaign you want to embark on. Now the question is DeMusliM, who's playing as the red, going to bring in a villager himself to try and set up shop right outside Viper's woodline?
I think it's going to get tough for him, though, because Viper has the double range, and the archers are actually faster than the longbowmen. So if he has less numbers, he can actually catch up and start dwindling that army. And DeMusliM has to go all the way across the map. Even though he's got double speed production, he has to come a very long way. And I think Viper, if he waits until the right moment, can actually wipe this army.
And therein you describe the greatest threat for any English player.
Yep.
Overextension. That is the threat. You've got to make sure you've got your scout alive, you cover your flank, and start running early when you see the larger archer blob coming towards your longbows.
And I actually kind of like this from Viper. Like, he sees the army can't do any damage there. He pulled away from the woodline, and I think he was thinking about maybe going forward and doing some counter raids of his own, but then he spotted the longbows near his outpost again at the front, so maybe concerned that DeMusliM is just going to make a run for it through there and get into the back.
Yeah, so far we've got that scout here for DeMusliM accompanying the longbows. There's a scout passing on the far northwest for a moment there, so Viper is very aware of what DeMusliM is doing. He sees the trickle of longbows. He sees a longbow every 7 seconds coming in, which shows that they are being printed. Now he wants to know, followed up by a what? Second range? Probably not. Blacksmith? Stables, perhaps?
Yep.
Try to blindside somebody where you show longbows, but suddenly you've got horses coming in. And if he sees everything, which I think we can safely assume that the scout will go all the way, he will see longbows and blacksmith. What does that mean?
Yeah, it means that he's going to start upgrading his units, and he'll have the firm advantage in these archer fights, because Viper will still not have a blacksmith as of yet. I think DeMusliM did spot that woodline in the back, though, with the scout, so he knows there's an area he can hit there, but he's going to shift over to the gold now.
Okay, a couple of archers being killed here. Nice shots there. The stutter step here by DeMusliM coming in. Viper trying to split his units to attack various targets to prevent overfiring, but the attrition is grievous. He's had many losses. A scout comes in here. Wonder whether he sent the all-army hotkey. Is that what he accidentally did? I don't think Viper makes that mistake, but his scout nonetheless ran to its death.
I'm surprised Viper didn't try and cut off those reinforcements earlier. The longbows streaming across the map, because his archers were very free to move around on that front side.
Seems so, with that outpost there?
Yeah, he had an idea of where DeMusliM's army was. He should have known that that was happening, but maybe he's content to just sit here and provide a little bit of a threat and let his economy work behind this without DeMusliM coming in and hitting anything.
Meanwhile, DeMusliM did run out of sheep. Viper didn't need them as much, but he denied them. Of course, his berries are exposed now, so who am I to say he didn't need them? No more sheep for DeMusliM, and didn't really prepare farms behind this.
Yeah.
Now, every English player that has been experimenting with build orders following pro meta, they've seen various kinds of farm openers, and they can feel really good to give a steady supply of food. But none of them have as many longbow as quickly as DeMusliM had this game. That did give him the advantage over the archers, but it was a loan, and loans have interest rates. And his interest rate now is that he suddenly had a big gap in his food production. No matter, he moved his villagers to deer. They're more exposed, but there's no counterattack threat yet.
And he's going to ensure that with this outpost here, with these number of longbows, as Viper switches into a few horsemen, and there's a second stable there. So he's making that switch at the back so that DeMusliM doesn't know that it's coming. And he's going to start building up his army, but DeMusliM, I think, is getting ready for a big push here. I believe the technology that I saw in that last split second was so that his units can build siege, correct?
Siege, engineering, campfire. Yeah, there you go. That's true. Don't have it on the overlay, but I mean, there's a lot of upgrades in the game. We've got the important ones. One ranged attack, wheelbarrow, campfire for healing, and siege engineering. DeMusliM is going for broke. Not a spearman to be seen, no horses, just longbows. Now, longbows in these this big numbers, they can actually dispatch of quite a few horsemen, can't they, Dave?
Yeah, they can, but I like what Viper's doing with the horsemen behind. He's waiting for that trickle of longbows. He knows that they're coming forward constantly this entire game, and he's like, if it takes long enough, I can build up enough army to counter the longbows at the front. I just need to make sure the reinforcements aren't coming and that it's something that I don't expect, right? I'm going to do a little bit of scouting, but now he's got problems because the ram is there, the outposts are starting to build, and that longbow mass is huge.
Yeah, whatever golden age Viper has can be deconstructed if the House of Wisdom falls. Also, if he drops below the 10 snaked buildings, that's not very likely to happen. In the meantime, we have a blacksmith, of course, there for Viper as well. He hasn't used it yet. He's got the gold for it. He's got quite a large food bank as well. Was he planning?
I think he's caught in the middle. He was caught in the middle, and he's surprised by this aggression.
Yeah.
Because he didn't see the outpost early, and then by the time he was building up the res, he had 600 food in the bank when the first outpost came down. Suddenly there's a second one. Suddenly there's a ram, and the longbows have built up to a number where you can't just charge out and hope for the best.
Yeah, especially if the longbows have that outpost protection. It's really hard to get close. You'll lose so many before you get there. And the horses are there trying to catch those reinforcements. They're actually finding the villagers on deer. Quick reaction by DeMusliM, and he immediately gets a shot off.
And credit to him. I mean, like, Viper was looking for those reinforcements. DeMusliM felt like that might happen. And so he's built up another, what, 7, 8 longbows at home to defend himself. So he's not sending them across piecemeal where Viper can pick them off. And he's really holding that position at the front. The ram needs to back up, but it should be fine. A second ram on the way, and Viper is building his horsemen. He revealed the 3 horsemen to DeMusliM before, so DeMusliM has to know there's probably more in the back.
Yeah, and again, this many longbows can take out horsemen. It's pretty ridiculous. DeMusliM is completely defying the conventions of countering table of the rock, paper, scissors. It's like Bart Simpson, always rock, always works. And Viper's like, poor Bart. But I'm not sure that paper can beat rock in these numbers. Well, that's a lot of horses.
That is a lot of horses. And that looks like a lot of longbows now, but all it takes is a few seconds of the first engagement, and suddenly it's not. And the horsemen start to destroy, but still Viper waiting for the right moment. He's got a ram of his own coming forward now, which is going to soak a little bit of fire and maybe try and take out the outpost as he goes over for the other 2 rams. So DeMusliM has to be concerned about positioning here. Does he fight the horsemen over on the other side? Does he fight the archers coming over on the left? I mean, he's taking out archers right now. Horseman diving in. This is going to decide the game right here.
Yeah, he's one-shotting Horseman. He is taking some good damage in return. The archers of Viper are not quite catching up yet. Horsemen are getting some good shots.
And now they're attacking the ram. Oh no, the archers were attacking the ram.
Oops.
And Viper missing a lot of shots and the horsemen going down. But still, there's a few horsemen in front. The archers are behind. The outposts are firing still. Can DeMusliM save this mass? Will he get out of here with enough to keep pressuring Viper? Right now, it looks like he might.
Those horsemen did not do what they're advertised to do. Count as archers. Well, these are longbows, baby. They're controlled by DeMusliM, baby. And he had such a large ball. Network of citadels upgrade. The ram distraction, taking the attack auto fire of those archers in the back. So many horsemen were ran down. But let's also look at where the dust has settled after all this. This was a big battle. Fun to watch. Great micro. But you look behind it, DeMusliM, 46 villagers, Viper, 44. Okay, small lead DeMusliM. But DeMusliM doesn't have his civilization-based advantage yet. He doesn't have lush farmlands spread out all over his base. What does the Viper have? Wheelbarrow. They both have it. But the Vipers had that golden age advantage. 10% bonus resource gathering of every category. And although that doesn't account for walking time, that's still a 7% or so bonus to your income. More than enough to compensate for the 3 villager deficit.
And the 3 villager lead is right there building forward outposts. So they're not really adding value to the whole economy right now.
So Viper is getting richer slowly. Just a little bit more
income. The problem
income
for Viper right now is food income, though, because you notice he doesn't have that many carcasses left under his TC. Ah, he's taking the berries in the back. Okay.
Okay, he's taking the berries.
He's taking a calculated risk, which Viper is very good at doing.
Right. Like, these berries aren't safe, right?
Yeah.
Where's the outpost, Dave?
But they're safe because the army is here, and he knows the army is here, and he knows there's not much mobility in that army.
Attention, distraction, the only thing, and as I understand from you, Viper often makes use of that. There's so much going on. Who is going to get the better end of this engagement? That's a lot of scary longbows right there. He needs to get a larger horseman army. It's quite a big disparity between their standing army at this time.
And there goes the villager difference we were just talking about. As the villagers get picked off, I wouldn't want to be a villager in that tower as it was surrounded by the longbows. And now there's another ram being created here. He's not stopping, and that House of Wisdom is at the front. So Viper has to defend that area.
Yeah, too many towers are up already, and there are arrow slits. We've got about 2 villagers on stone, which gives you a very steady supply of arrow-slitted towers. DeMusliM, I mean, he's looking good here. He comes back from this break, casting for 10 days, by the way, traveling to 3-4 different countries, by the way, and he comes here and he's like, yeah, not confident, I don't have a chance and stuff. How dare he take the lead here against Viper, against the legend?
How dare he? My question is, why doesn't Viper have the +1 defense yet?
That is a really large oversight.
Like,
you could
how
say that he
good would have that done on the first horseman engagement?
Dude, we're talking 7 damage against 2 ranged armor on horseman,
yeah,
or 7 into 3. Although it's only 1 armor difference, the damage percentage difference is like 25%.
Horseman coming into
he
the
would have
wood
won
line.
that battle, maybe.
He might have won that battle. Maybe he didn't have the resources at the time. Maybe
well, he doesn't
felt
have
like
it now either.
Yeah,
right?
I'm trying to find something. I don't know.
He very legitimately probably didn't have the gold.
Yeah.
But you put 2.5 villagers on long distance mining on that gold camp that is kind of to the north of his base, and you're done so.
Yeah,
again, it might be attention distraction.
Well, look at the situation he's at right now. It's terrible. I mean, DeMusliM now has spearmen in his eco. He can fire with the villagers on that on the horsemen, which help. He's got outposts on the front. The House of Wisdom just went down.
Oh, there it goes. That ratio advantage is now gone. The Viper's up against it.
And now the archer ranges are going down. So he's going to have less production, and if that town center falls, Viper is out of the game. So he's got to defend this position. He still has 50 villagers, DeMusliM at 52, so it's close in that regard, but the map position is just so much better for the English player here.
And you don't mean that metaphorically either. If that town center goes down,
no, it's
he's
literally,
as good as lost.
Yeah, he's literally lost.
There we go. Unmetaphorically, going for the victory is DeMusliM. 3 rams, clunky machines, aren't they?
Rohan's come at the top there, though. Okay. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of horsemen. There's still no armor.
Viper has 300 stone. He's got 100 gold, needs that ranged armor, doesn't have it. Uncharacteristic, or one of the mistakes he makes and it is brilliant despite of it? What do you think?
I think it all had to do with that forward gold position, right? He doesn't feel like he can go out to the golds at the top there. He can go out to the berries, but I guess he didn't feel like he could safely accumulate that gold, or it wasn't worth it at the time. And now he's kind of stuck in this situation where he doesn't have the pierce armor. There's rams hitting his TC. He has to respond to that. And behind all of this is a massive longbow army.
Yeah, all the spears right where they need to be, skewering those horsemen like so many shish kebabs. The rest of the horsemen are coming in, they're taking down the rams, getting some torch damage in. Total defeat averted for now.
I'm absolutely amazed by the positioning here from DeMusliM, that he hasn't lost one of those big fights with the English, and he's extended himself quite a bit too. Viper with the horsemen, Viper trying to go for the counter raids, Viper trying to distract, and DeMusliM just isn't biting on anything.
Viper needs that ranged armor upgrade. We look at DeMusliM's income right now. He's getting mostly wood, very dedicated to finishing things off here. Just a bit of gold, about 2 villagers, stone villagers, maybe 3. It's entirely designed to equip these towers with outpost arrow slits and the fortified armor as well. He is going to stay in feudal. There is no plan B. What are you going to do if this doesn't work out? He's like, it's going to work. It's going to work.
Yeah. Well, Viper, I mean, Viper has to stay in feudal, basically. I mean, he can't.
Why is he staying in feudal? What a noob!
Yeah, click the button that
Grubby,
isn't there.
his landmark. It's quite Dutch, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, I guess it like clarifies your mental state, right? There's no indecision. Should I go up to the next stage? It's like
Destroyed
you can't.
motivation, fully repair to regain mojo. But
and he's got 20 units fully inside that TC. Ungarrison's now the horseman, and I think this is the moment where Viper's thinking, I need to take a big fight, or at least I need to take out these Rams, and I might sacrifice so many of my units to do so as the pikemen get great hits there. And we go to Viper's point of view right here, and look at him. He's speeding up here. He's going after the outpost. He's trying to target the Rams, and we got surrender in real time.
Wow. Nice. Loser POV Sag. But that's our winner here. Who is surprised here? Raise your hands. Why did you raise your hand? No, but seriously, this is sick. We've got two large fan bases of two larger-than-life characters here in the gaming scene. So many tournaments between them have they attended. Here they have their fateful meeting. I feel like it was just a couple of months ago we saw that epic Boulder Bay game between Viper and DeMusliM, where it was Rus against Holy Roman, and it was just like an hour or two game. Everyone was talking to each other. Yo, they got the game live now. Go check it out. Go check it out. Tune in. And here they are meeting again. Recently, DeMusliM had beaten Viper, but I thought it was going to go the other way around here. He came back. He learns about the patch. DeMusliM came back from his travels, has had a few days to play, and he just takes the first map here. Very, very impressive here with English against Beastyqt. Now, Dave, how important do you think Beastyqt was as a civ for Viper? Was it a throwaway? Was it a high hopes? Was it mid-tier?
I think it was a middle-of-the-road civ. And I think the same thing could maybe be said for English, for DeMusliM as well. Just kind of, you know, one of those 50-50. I'll pick it. It's a safe-ish pick, and we'll go first game, and we'll see how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I think I mostly agree with you. I think for English, most people would also agree on that. English kind of seems like that counter civ that you try to put against some pesky civs. They used to be the go-to against Rus.
Yeah.
They're most okay against Mongols. Then they have like a few specialty maps. Beastyqt has gone up a bit in the tier list, in the esteems of players. Do you think it's a top 3 civ yet for players?
I think I'm the wrong guy to ask, man. We've got 8
talk
players here. They could give you a better answer than me.
Get in here.
I'm an Beastyqt main since the game first came out, so I'm going to say yes. And I think the
a
key
sufferer, enjoyer.
Yeah, the key thing about that civ is that, like, as all the other civs got their various nerfs, and some of them got buffed as well, Beastyqt more or less stayed the same. I mean, we got the decrease on the age uptime, which really helped a lot. But I think it's less of them being buffed and more of just other civs kind of coming back down to their level, right? Now people are realizing that, you know, getting villagers for half price is really good, and it enables you to do a lot of other things.
I remember when I first started playing, they were my favorite civ. They sound so cool. They shout all the time. Oh,
you're playing Tetris with the buildings, you know, it's like a game within a game.
So satisfying.
Yeah.
But then every time I forgot to get fresh foodstuffs once I made my age up, because there's just so much to learn in a new game. Not these players. And they can do more than that too. But yeah, it got better, the civ. It's still not an aggressive civ, which means you generally don't have agency. You don't get to dictate the flow of the game like an English, a French player, or a Mongol player, right? And even Delhi, with their sacred sites, have agency. Beastyqt, as a passive civ, I think cannot be seen as number 1, but they have gotten a lot stronger. They're more easy to make work than Chinese when it comes to having that passive defensive approach into economic boom. This time, though, he used it on Altai, popular home ground for English. DeMusliM played it very well. There is that one big glaring mistake. It hurts to remember it. No iron undermesh.
Armor. Yep.
No ranged armor for the Horseman for Viper is a mistake that he should not be making.
He also had a little bit, like, that first engagement, his archers were attacking the Ram, and I think they fired 3 shots at the Ram, and that is such, it doesn't seem like much, because it's only 6 or 7 seconds, or even 5 seconds, but it's such an important time. 3 horsemen went down in that period when they were firing at the Ram. If those archers had been chasing after the longbowmen, getting closer, suddenly the longbows have to keep running away, The horsemen keep getting picks. Maybe Viper gets behind them. Maybe he takes out a couple. And the thing with range units is that 20 range units feels great. 15 will get wiped up. It like exponentially.
Yeah, there's a critical mass.
Yeah, I'm
There's a
sure
critical mass.
you have a perfect way to explain it. You understand what I'm getting at here, right?
But you're making a great point,
Yeah.
right? You've got this critical mass where you need a single volley to kill a unit.
Yeah.
Now you've got this tipping point. Now you've got this snowball effect, and it just changes the entire outcome of the
Exactly.
game. Those archers get their 3 salvos on the longbows. It may have changed things completely in that
Exactly.
engagement, despite the upgrade missing.
Despite the armor missing, yeah.
That's the past. This is the now. It's good enough for DeMusliM to get that victory there. And it doesn't mean if his longbow army was completely wiped out, it would be over per se. He probably had some reserves back at home. But that was the battle that decided everything. Great micro on display by DeMusliM there, kiting backwards, keeping up the aggression. There was good scouting as well. He became aware of the horsemen and saved his reinforcement. Every little bit helped there. Now we're going to see where we go for that second game. And if anyone except Leenock will be trying out Chinese here in the early rounds.
I think one of my favorite things here so far is that every player is like, I'll ban Mongols against you, I'll ban Mongols against you. And then they look at Leenock, they're like, don't worry, pal. I won't ban Mongols against you.
And then they have this opposite world thing going on. For those of you that missed the first 2 series, Leenock won everything except when he played as Mongols. And then afterwards, someone won everything except when they were against Mongols. So Leenock, opposite world kind of guy. But we've got game 2, and we've got a premiere for you here. Dave, what is the Viper playing?
And we have the Viper playing Rus here, which we haven't seen yet in this
right.
tournament. And I don't believe... Have we seen this map either?
Nope.
We have not seen this Mongolian Heights. We have not seen it yet in this main event.
Rus and Mongols. Okay, this matchup, we didn't get to see it a lot before. Why? Because Boulder Bay was in the map pool.
Yep.
Everyone saved Rus for Boulder Bay, which means nobody saved Rus for any other map. So to see them on Danube River is probably something we haven't seen in competitive play in AoE 4 for over a month, if not 2. Mongols here. Normally, Mongols, they're the Grinch. They're gonna ruin your Christmas. But can Viper's Rus stop them here? He's got that Lodja attack ship conversion at Feudal, but will he survive that long? Mongols tend to get Dark Age aggressive, Dave.
And I'm wondering, like, what's the timing on the dock here from Viper? Because we already saw a dock from DeMusliM. We saw a dock from the Mongols player here.
Did we?
Oh, sorry, switch sides. Sorry, I apologize.
It's so, I mean, it is, let's see, DeMuslim's Mongol flag is blue.
It was Viper going for the dock. You always have to remember, if there's a door in the background of the player cam, that player is blue, because they're the higher seed.
Well, they also have a small little outline around them, right? You see the blue outline?
Ah, see, still noticing things here on this wonderful overlay.
Right.
So Viper did go for the dock
But it's
immediately.
confusing because the Sith flags are the opposite color. You know, blue, red, blue. But
Stop trying to justify it. It was my mistake.
we have a pretty small screen here, but we can see it. We can see things. No worries. So DeMusliM playing as a red, as the Mongol player, opened Ovu into barracks. That means he's even now making Spearman. First 2 are on the field. He's got 80 stone. Now can make another 2 spears. He makes 1. Just trying to throw everyone off balance. Wait, oh, that's how it shows. Okay, that's apparently how it shows when you're making 2 from the Ovu. Same picture. Doesn't have that cute little 2 times symbol, because I saw his stone disappeared. Okay, today we TIL'd, but on the
We're
other...
learning on the first day. It's
learning on the-
perfect. Yeah, that's where you should learn. And the spearmen are coming across now. There's 4 spearmen already, and I wonder if he comes forward for an outpost on these ships as well.
Might as well, since we're here anyway, with a couple of spears and villagers. And he's going for the dock. Now, if Mongol players kill the dock, they get, or even burn it, that's 25 food, 25 gold.
Yep.
Nice little pickup. It won't immediately deny the food income, though. Rus fishing ships do not need to return to a dock to drop off their food, which makes them one of the more good civs to pick if you're planning to lose your dock to Mongols anyway, which anyone should plan.
And here's the outpost coming down in the ford there. So if Viper wants to move his fishing boats, they're going to have to go past that outpost, and it'll give a lot of vision to DeMusliM as well on the movements of the fleet there from Viper, and whether he's coming across with any land military later in the game. So that's a pretty decent position for him. He's still working on that dock, and it should be on fire shortly.
Yeah, once it drops to about a quarter HP or so, it will also soon stop fishing boat production. Maybe can squeeze about 2 more out, which would leave Viper with 6 fishing ships. A very nice little bonus to his income. That's income scaling of 6 extra workers on water that can only gather food, which it's a pretty big deal. We've got 22 economy. You see that villager icon in the overlay, such a nice overlay, but it also includes fishing ships. Yeah, so you see the income disparity between the two here. A little bit is gained back from the raid bonus from the Mongols, but we've got feudal started already for Viper, and you can start to think about what do we do next.
Viper will notice this villager as well. So villager sent right across from DeMusliM into Viper's base essentially, and now he's going to go for another outpost there on the berries, and he's going to bring his spearmen along. Viper going for the Golden Gate, so he's advancing to the next age, and he should be able to secure water control if he converts some of these fishing ships, but he's going to have to worry about the land now, so his attention is going to be a little bit divided.
Scout gets a cheeky few hits on the villager. I count about 4 shots or so, maybe 5, doing about 16 to 20 damage. So that villager is a little bit hurt. The Golden Gate is finishing. Viper has set up for a lot of lumber income right now. He's also still gotten a little bit of gold, but that's just the hunting cabin passive income. Maybe it's actually residual deer income from some animal he killed in the last minute. He's not actually gathering gold, of course. So, archers now. Lodja attack ship. Lots of question marks. We've got a range coming in and a house.
Range in a house there. The spearmen are going to feel pretty underwhelming with that wooden fortress there and an archer range in Viper's base, but I think the spearmen are just there to hold him inside until DeMusliM can get to the second age as well and start getting more in terms of land military. There's a second outpost, so he's just slowly surrounding his base. Still, Viper has the economic advantage because he has those 6 fishing ships? Was it 6 or 5?
6.
6.
Yep, 6 fishing ships.
Who are they selling their fish to? That's my question.
Yeah, well...
Are they just chucking them to the shore? Like...
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Sometimes you have to suspend belief and just accept that that's how it works. I don't know the lore reason for fishing boats and magic, but I'm sure you can find more logical loopholes.
What happened to the villager forward also from DeMusliM? Is she running away or did she die to the town center?
I think she's right inside. Is it a she actually? We'll check when they come out again. There's a spearman and a villager inside that outpost. Archers are here. They would have stopped that second tower anyway. So Viper, as long as he can keep his head cool and he can kind of mark his territory or let's say mark off a territory that outposts can no longer encroach upon him, he's taking that little food advantage, and that's going to work for him until DeMusliM gets a step redoubt or his own dock, and then he can start to equalize or even get ahead economically.
Yeah, speaking of keeping his head cool, though, DeMusliM, nothing in between him and the air, and he's going to slowly start building more. I hope you just looked at me. It's like, I can make bold jokes.
Oh,
he's going to keep building the outposts around.
With me.
And he's going to go for a dock of his own.
Thought it was poetry.
Oh, yeah, I can do that too, just not as good. And there's the dock right there. Still nothing coming out from that at the moment. And Viper is sitting in the exact same spot with his ships too. He hasn't even upgraded any of them, I don't think so.
Can you make Lodja attack ships without a dock? I suppose you can, as long as you're feudal. I suppose you can. I didn't try. Guess he doesn't think... Yeah, you can. No problem. He doesn't think there's anything worth fighting over. He would have to Frogger past that outpost in the middle and it doesn't want to sustain any losses. Plus, he probably doesn't know that the dock has gone up. Doesn't have any vision of this, most likely.
And it's going to be an attack ship there.
What's it called? Not a Dow.
A junk. It's a junk,
right?
Yeah.
So he's sending a junk over. It looks small and unimposing, but a light junk. But it's gonna, what, 3-shot, 4-shot? Maybe 4 or 5-shot these fishing boats. One goes down already. He has started the conversion on 1 or 2 of those boats, I think.
Okay, fishing boat. The first one's going to go down, and I love the fact that he adds one junk and then immediately starts adding a fishing ship behind it too. So he's like, I'm going to take control of this. If he converts one of these, maybe I can make some more ships. And I think he converted both of them there, did he?
I think it was more than that. I think he converted 3 or 4 and lost 1 mid-transition. And now these two are barely winning against the light junk. So 1 light junk made, 6 fishing ships denied. 2 to 3 of them spent money, and 1 didn't get back the money on conversion. And he's barely even kicking the ass of that light junk. Now he's got to go back, race past the outpost, and stop the inevitable fishing boats that are going to be coming up behind that. This is not good for Viper.
No, it feels like a preemptive attack ship transformation would have been key there, especially because you were in the next age so fast.
But he didn't know.
But just for scouting.
Right, yeah.
Just for scouting purposes. Like, you know the outpost is there, but you can get past that outpost.
With 2, I think.
Okay.
Or if you maybe bait some shots with a scout. Because you can't get past with 1 warship. They do that bonus damage to ships, and you're not sure if it's going to be worth it. So ideally, you would operate based on information. You see the dock first, you know it's worth it, go past with 2 ships. But we do have H3 coming up against Viper, but he's kind of walking on stilts now. It's a little bit unstable. The ground has been taken away from underneath him. Those fishing boats are gone. He now has outposts all around him. It's very constrictive. H3 finishes. Probably see a warrior monk coming out, but what army is he going to have?
Yeah, and look at the resources from DeMusliM right now. He's banking up for H3 as well. There's double archer range there from Viper, still getting attacked by the junks, and that's his final ship, and he can't make any more. His dock position is gone, killed long ago, and as I say that, here comes Viper with another dock.
Went the long way around, all the way across the top left of the map, and it looked like Viper actually was rushing out a siege workshop, and the sudden economy drop that he has in his bank, I think it means he's making a Springald. Actually, we've got that overlay. Oh, I love it. We used to have to guess.
It's actually perfect. Yeah.
So why Springald?
You tell me. They are decent against the ships.
They're good against the ships. Can he get past to the ships? I don't see him making his way there. There's still the outposts that he has to worry about.
He's going out and trying to harass the Khan a little bit as his gold is being harassed, and the Spearmen actually fall. So the land units over there on that side from DeMusliM are going to be cleared up, which means Viper can freely walk there as long as he clears up the outposts, and then maybe the Springald can make its way towards the ships in the middle. I think the fishing economy for DeMusliM is going to be very exposed here.
It is very healthy, though. He can just move them away. Springalds are slow. Go to the top right. He's got complete map control. I want you all to envision the map as it looks now with Fog of War off. You see everything as a viewer, right? That's kind of how the map looks like to DeMusliM right now. He's got outposts everywhere. Then imagine when you start a game. You've got your town center and everything is a blank canvas, or rather a black canvas. That's how the map looks like to Viper. He's got outposts all around him. It's tough to move anywhere. He's trying to break out. There's a Castle Khan starting to fight with the Springald. He hasn't got a boat to his name presently. He's got broad axis upgrade, but it's a mockery of the situation he's in. He knows DeMusliM is reaching Castle. Step readouts in full flow. Fishing boats. Demo is looking good in the second game here.
And the archers from Viper are still harassing DeMusliM, but now there's horsemen out on the field. I love how DeMusliM kind of unpacked that step readout right on top of the archers, like, I'm coming here. There's nothing you can do to stop me. And now the villagers heading back, even with the archers there, but the horsemen are going to be able to deal with that. The Springald is dealing with the Khan, so the Khan is dead.
Okay.
At the back, and Viper is going to push DeMusliM off his side, and DeMusliM is going to push Viper off his side. But the outposts are still there.
And those outposts are going ding, 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 or pock, pock, pock in their attack notifications. Certainly difficult for the concentration of the Viper, but he does have his first warrior monk retrieving a relic. There are 3 more in the north of the map, 1 more towards the south. Viper has yet to clear up the outposts. They were planted here 6 minutes into the game.
I'm surprised he hasn't already.
It just requires such a large investment, you know?
Yeah.
Like blacksmith, siege engineering. You need infantry, right? And they make rams very slowly. Then when you make rams, you still can't beat the 6 spearmen that are protecting them. They'll torch you down. So you need something against the spearmen. But
Well, the spearmen are gone now.
Now they are,
Yeah.
right? But only because he threw them away around the gold like 2 minutes ago. But they were there before. You try to kill the spears with archers, they pop into the outpost. Now the outpost is killing your archers. You pull back, repeat the dance. Meanwhile, they're making more outposts. It requires a large effort to take them down.
Oh, he's got a trebuchet. There
He
you
go
go.
for a trebuchet.
He goes for a treb.
It's like getting a nuclear launcher for a cockroach. You know what I mean? It's
So you
like,
got to do what you got to do, you know?
I suppose.
I mean, those things are annoying.
Yeah. All right.
And he's even attacking the fishing economy. But like you said before, I mean, DeMusliM got such value out of that, right? How many fishing ships did he have? 7?
Yeah, I think
working
so.
for a couple
Maybe
minutes
more.
there. Yeah. And look at his food bank. Look at the amount of food he has in the bank right now. Is he thinking about going to the 4th age, or what's happening over there?
Imperial would be greedy as heck. Sorry to say it, I just said it, heck, but that's the way I feel right now. It does mean his OVU would scale up in stone output from 120 to 150.
Yep.
But I mean, that's one village's worth. Not really worth going Imperial for. Imperial costs
I think
2,400.
he's thinking about it though, because like he had 1,700.
Well, now
only
he's thinking about it.
He's only spent 3. Yeah, maybe now that he saw his food bank, he's like, "Ooh, this is a good idea."
Guess I
And
could.
now he's building up gold, and he's got 900 gold in the bank. He's controlling the water there at the moment after Viper killed a few of his fishing ships, and
Yeah.
Viper.
But look at his food income per minute.
Yeah, it's seriously down now that his fishing ships are gone.
He was like singing Viva Las Vegas, and
Yeah, and
Viper's
now-
like, hey, no
oh.
singing here. Took away his fishing boats, and now he's caught halfway in the song.
He's in a very similar position that Viper was in when he was thinking about going up to age 3 last game.
The opposite game,
Yeah.
300 plus gold.
Where
True.
he had the res in the bank, and then he realized I just can't. I have to invest in military, and I don't have the food eco to delay long enough to click up or to build my building. And now look at DeMusliM's food bank. He's at 400.
And he's not getting a lot per minute. Viper's got him dwarfed with 2.5 times factor almost. Trebuchet will pay for its grievous misdeeds of taking out these outposts. They were precious.
Oh, the
to
trap went
DeMusliM.
down.
Yeah.
Absolutely tragic. Absolutely tragic. And the Springald will follow. No, the villagers trying to keep it alive. Okay,
Well,
it goes
it
down.
went down eventually. Those torches were thrown after them. But look at those crossbows. Got some good shots in. A lot of units went down. And Viper is crawling out of this constricted position.
Yep.
He's looking good. That Springald he made that gave me so much confusion eventually took down all the boats.
And
That
it took down the con in the back. It cleared up the stuff in the back as well.
Yeah.
So I think it might have been worth it. I think DeMusliM also gave him a little bit of a chance here, because what if he had invested that 1,700 food immediately into military?
Spending
And
your
kept
resources.
the forward
Don't be
pressure
crazy.
going. Yeah, instead of being a little bit greedy. And now he's forced to invest into more cavalry, and Viper's going to have an army to respond to him.
I think you're right, Dave. There is such a thing as going to Imperial too fast. I tested this out once on Black Forest. Everyone booms like mad, multiple TC, and I thought, what if I just go straight Imperial and get a couple of bombards? Got to Imperial as Chinese, 1 town center, couldn't make a single unit. It's expensive. Every single upgrade is more than a year's salary at that point, and you wish that you had actually saved up a bit first. So, DeMusliM, had he gone to Imperial, what could he really have done? 1 bombard? Oh no, I know. He would have gone for a Bautron. But I'm not sure Bautron is like the unkillable unit in the game anymore, since the siege changes against ships.
Yeah.
Before, yes. Now maybe not anymore. But that may have been his plan. If he ends up winning the series, we can ask him about it. Were you Bautron rushing?
I think it was more along the lines of, oh my god, look at how much food I have. He didn't realize the fish were doing so much, and now the warrior monk is saying, oh my god, look at all the cavalry chasing me. He's running away. He's going to get the relic a little bit closer to Viper. That is such a Viper thing to, before you even look at your other warrior monk in the back that still has the relic that you haven't dropped off, you're trying to steal it from your opponent's side of the map.
So competitive. Viper did just lose a Springald to a war junk. He's looking pretty good in the economy department. He's got a sizable army still. Triple the army size, some of it more valuable as well. But I would say this game is still quite open on both sides. They both have some water control, both have some land control. Redoubt is now replacing itself, and DeMusliM finally secured new sources of food. getting deer from one side. Some fishing ships, I believe, at the top of the map as well.
Yeah, there were a few fishing ships left over. And he went for an outpost on that northern crossing as well, as he's now harassing the dock a little bit from Viper. But Viper has a few more ships on the field, so he's going to get some extra damage there. Viper has also done the thing where he got himself into a comfortable position, and then he stalled out military production. So it was very similar to DeMusliM's situation, but in that time, I think he was expanding his eco a little bit and bringing in these relics.
Finally bringing in all those relics, bring them all. And, you know, Viper never really plays a game beyond the 15-minute mark with a singular town center. He's not that kind of guy. He'll always just kind of squeeze one in. And if we survey his base, I'm sure we can see the same thing. Maybe more than one town center, I would imagine, if we have a chance to look. But we can also look at the fight. Knights going for some stone villagers here on this rather large outcropping. And there's that keep.
Yeah, keep at the front. Viper wants to prevent the units from coming across that middle area, but the cavalry is here, and he's going to have to retreat from this. And now we wonder, does Viper have enough army to defend those Springolds? Look awfully out of place at the front there with no land units to back them up.
They have no purpose anymore. We've got 2 scouts coming in here. 2 scouts, 2 Springolds walk into a bar. So many knights. Crossbows are coming back. But he's just lost quite a lot of wood and gold. Nice surgical strike there by DeMusliM.
Yep, and this is a result of Viper cutting his military production. Like you said, he always has to have that second or third TC, right? And it costs you. It costs you time. It costs you resources. And Viper is just now responding to this. He's going to be able to take these out eventually. DeMusliM, I think, will have another force coming across because he's kept up the production. And once again, he sees that keep, and he's going to be able to kill more villagers. Villager count now, Viper dropping below him. A minute ago, he was 12 villagers ahead.
Now 6 economy down. Could be boats, right? Could be villagers. Losing many Springolds. And the keep still not up. Now, he does have 4 relics against 0. This helps. 400 gold per minute represents a 10 villager deficit. But how much does step readout represent? Well, to be honest, not that much. It's worth about 5 villagers right now. If you look at the gold per minute that DeMusliM is getting, he's got about 4 to 5.
Oh, he's trying for the Wallow. Viper's trying for the Wallow.
Didn't he just? I think he just used it. He's going to send it back now. He didn't want to lose it. Power build on the keep there. Finally, the keep is full. It's now starting to help. You can see those knights closest to the keep falling rapidly.
Yeah, as the crossbows do their work there, and DeMusliM is going to run in. He's not going to pull them back. He's going to look for other opportunities to hit Viper. Viper should be able to clear these up, though, as long as he pulls his villagers away. And look at the production here. We saw 4 knights at once coming across the field there from DeMusliM, but they're running into the keep, so maybe a little bit distracted, had the waypoint at the wrong spot. Viper finally going to be able to drop off that relic, and the knights are going down to that keep. Bit sloppy there, maybe, from DeMusliM.
Feels Osgiliath, man, sending troops into certain death. Poor Faramir. The knights are still being charged in here. We can see DeMuslim's production tab is all knights and sheep. He's going for a knight and sheep army composition. Pastures, of course, bringing those sheep in, and yeah, knights. Oh, he went for his own second town center.
Okay.
That's unusual as Mongols.
Okay, so that's how he's keeping up with the villager count. He's actually ahead now, 73 to 66. I don't know if we have any other fishing ships left, maybe 1 or 2.
Let's take a look.
Potentially. Oh, we actually have 3. Okay.
Yeah, let's go north. Let's go upriver. I see a 4th boat, and that's it. What about in the south? Any blue docks?
I think he had 1. Because I think he had an attack ship, and I think he had a fishing ship, Viper.
Let's go all the way south. Down river we go.
Down river. There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
2 boats?
2 boats.
Not bad. Respectable, respectable. It's Danube River. It's not Boulder Bay. Water is an accessory, not a life or death. And I like it that way. What an interesting game between the 2 of them here as we head into the later mid-game of this game, and it is still very hotly contested.
Look at the food income between these 2 players. We have a
wow.
1,200 per minute for DeMusliM, and we have half that for Viper. And Viper is obviously banking gold because he wants to go up to the 4th age, but his food income is not there.
What happened to it?
Well, I think he was shifting between wood and stone and gold and running away from the raids of DeMusliM, and he just didn't have time to set up his farms. He's just now getting some more of those down, and trying to increase his food bank. This means, though, that he can't really produce if he wants to stall out for age 4.
Yeah, you look at his income per minute. Take him about a minute to go Imperial. But DeMusliM, he's got his finger on the button, doesn't he? The W button on his stables, just holding down the Knight button. He's getting grizzled axles as well. The movement speed for Siege. We've got 7 Knights at a time being produced. Villagers are coming up behind this. And you always wonder, during such a time, Dave, does the Viper know or intuit that DeMusliM is on 2 town centers? Or is he assuming that if the attrition isn't too bad, that he's slowly getting ahead by virtue of his own second TC?
I don't know. I think if you asked him, he would say something like, oh, I suspected that he was on 2 town centers, but against Mongols, I don't know if you think that way, if you see the amount of knights that he's pushing across.
Yeah, rare, I think.
Yeah.
It's like the one Civ. Don't get us wrong. Mongols, it's very good to have a second TC with.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel natural.
Because they don't need it.
Yeah.
They can win by full aggression into their own counter. We're talking knights winning against spears. Especially when animation cancel was possible. Luckily, not anymore. It's gotten so much better since. And but yeah, DeMusliM is running so many knights in. Not a lot of nuance here to his army comp. Did start a couple of siege buildings here. And the Viper, he's going for the crossbow route. Why not spears? Probably feels like he would just be given the runaround too much.
And I think, he's on the way up. Yeah, he's on the way up now, right?
Yeah. Whose vision is this?
I believe this is Viper.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It is.
High armory coming out. All right. Imperial.
Okay, there's a siege workshop planned from Viper as well, and he's able to keep these trebuchets kind of away from his keep because he can sit that Springald within range of it, but DeMusliM is building up quite a fearsome army here, and we see the military counts. We got 34 for Viper, 45 for DeMusliM, and DeMusliM has higher impact units on the field.
That's true. They're way more costly. We're talking 240 resources per night. Well, if you don't count the double production from the OVU.
No, we don't think about that. That's scary.
It still consumes 240 stone per set. So let's say every night is 240 resources. Crossbows, only 120. So not only does DeMusliM have more army, but they're double as costly. Now, Viper is building up a nice siege weaponry force. Got a couple of Springalds here, and with Imperial, he can upgrade them to have 13.5 range.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to keep them alive first.
Yeah, it doesn't make them better at 1 range against Knights.
And DeMusliM goes in there, picks off 2 Springalds. He loses 3 Knights for it, but he's got 96 villagers here, and his food income per minute is now at 1,500.
Damn, he must have so many pastures. Yeah, about seven pastures right now. He's of course completely been unmolested on his side of the map. He's been able to go to any deer position, basically any place without getting counterattacked.
I'm honestly surprised that he hasn't taken advantage of the fact he has that outpost in the north to just send like 2 or 3 knights around to harass and maybe divide Viper's attention a little bit.
He did sometimes, right? Like a couple of units, but why does the Viper not have a couple of knights going towards DeMusliM from the left side? No walls. He must know that the redoubt is going to be moving and basically not being scared at all, since it's a full crossbow army. Could Viper have get a couple of horsemen, a couple of knights, kind of stress your opponent's mindset and multitasking?
So as we get into the late game, which we're, I think, officially in right now. Which Civ do you favor in this position? It's split right down the middle now. The economy, it might be slightly better for DeMusliM, but
in the long run, half an hour hence, 100% the Viper. Redoubt is gonna not have gold production anymore. DeMusliM doesn't have late game preparations. He doesn't have Sacred Side. Didn't take any relics, right? Nice spinning there on the junk. I'll say in 30 minutes from now, the Viper. 13.5 range Springalds against 13 from DeMusliM, and the high armory having a number of other upgrades for bombers, mangonels, what have you. And DeMusliM can't wall. Mongols eventually will feel the lack of walling. But DeMusliM has such a good economy here.
You got one. You got one.
It's not what they used to be, is it?
No, it's not. I was seriously afraid for that army when I saw that. That's just flashbacks in my mind.
I thought we were going to see Let It Blow, but not anymore. Luckily, we caught it on many VODs, so we can always look back at one of those. I think they need to buff demo ships. What do you guys think at home? Anyway.
Oh, I'm a demo ship enjoyer. I agree. More booms, man. More booms. Viper, though, pushing across into DeMusliM. Even with this eco, I mean, he's still H3, and he's just kind of like, what's happening here for him? He's going into Springleds now, and that's all he has in the queue. Okay, now he reaches Imperial Age.
Speak of the devil, and I'm not just saying that metaphorically. They used to call him the Devil Terran in the previous RTS he played. Speak of the devil, and he reached Imperial. Now he can get his own special upgrades. And what is he getting? Is that a bow chat?
I think it is. It's in production right now.
You can click it to find it? I don't know. Oh, no, it's an overlay, right? Yeah, it's not in the game yet. Yeah, he's probably making a Bouch one from his dock on the river. And we've got, of course, whatever that thing is called. It's not the Kaganet, is it? The one that produces 240 stone?
Oh, no, don't ask me about names.
It's the Stupa. The Stupa. So he's getting a lot of stone now, is DeMusliM. He can make either many bombered outposts, or he can get some really cool special upgrades, rate bonus, improved eco upgrades, or he could go for a lot of double night production. And there's a Bouch one. It's a monster.
And the Springleds are kind of within range here, and that Springled just explodes. It got destroyed there by the ship, and he's going to have to run away. And Viper, even with this army now, has to respect that. He's got 84 military on the field, but like we said before, I mean, DeMusliM has the higher value military still.
Definitely, and although spears and crossbows will destroy a knight army, they are far more susceptible to mangonels than knights themselves. So Knight Mangonel is a really nice army that does get countered by crossbows, but requires Springleds to do work quickly. Take down those mangonels before those can be brought to bear on the squishy small army that the Viper has. And there we can see some quality shots coming in. It's 13.5 range. You don't believe your eyes. We need a bigger monitor. Can we get some ultra widescreen here?
Dude, those things are shooting from Narnia beneath both of the keeps from Viper. I mean, not even on the same screen like you said at DeMusliM. He thought he was in a fantastic position. He's like, I got my big ship. I can range this castle here with the trebuchet. And Viper's like, nah. You don't understand what kind of game this is. You're about to, though, as he starts ranging the dock and positioning his military behind. Viper knows, like you said, Viper knows if he goes to the end game, I mean, he's mining the gold over there, but he's got the 4 relics. Like
that helps, but you look at the income per minute, and DeMuslim's numbers are out of this world.
For now.
Yeah, right now DeMusliM is gathering something like 4,000 resources a minute against Vipers, 2,000. He's mining double the resources with just, what, 30 more economy supply? Is it the, it's not the eco upgrades, he hasn't got any. He doesn't even have mining upgrades.
I think he's just got 1 million villagers on gold.
Yeah, but like,
right
that's a readout thing too. Like, and you don't tell me that with 40 villagers on gold, you're not supposed to get 1 mining pick upgrade. He's like, hey, I'm in no rush.
I'm trying to explain the 2,400 per minute right now. I don't understand what's happening. We'll have to take a look at his eco.
I guess the DeMusliM is like, this side of the river is mine, and that one is yours. I'm in no rush.
And
why
it's going up
faster?
It keeps going up.
Yeah, it's that's a lot of gold. There's a Lodja demo ship here. I wonder if he's got the upgrade for it, the bigger explosion.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, DeMuslim's got to be worried here about getting trapped. He's in the back there. Viper is slowly pincering in on him, and DeMusliM maybe using that army as a distraction as he comes forward with the siege now.
Whoa, that's a large army of knights. Yo, is it a wall? Did he trap that force?
I think there is a wall behind from Viper, and I think DeMusliM may have tried to path through there, and he couldn't, and now he's just, he's realizing the predicament that he's in. Viper is chasing after him. Viper clears up the siege on the front there, or some of the siege as he's firing from 1 million miles away with the Springled. DeMusliM going for 2 attacks at once, maybe trying to divide and conquer, but it's not working here as Viper is responding to both of them.
We cannot get out, drums in the deep. But the Knights did actually get out, and as long as he's got presence of mind, yeah, he's running with most of those. Some fellow comrades fell along the way, but the rest is running away. Meanwhile, the battle of Springults against Bouchon continues. It's a battle of vision as much as it is of attention and micro. Springults do bonus damage to Bouchons. They do 120. Bouchons have 2,000 health. So how many shots does he need? Like 18 or something? Wait.
He doesn't need that many for a cannon, and one of them just went down so far away. DeMusliM thought it was safe. He's still chasing that cavalry army. He tried to flank it and prevent it from running home with those crossbows, but now he's going to bring the crossbows back over here. Even added in some horse archers into the mix, and the cavalry is coming across, and the Springults seem really out of position.
Surround!
This is the cavalry we thought was trapped at the north.
The Spearmen are trying to bring up the rear, coming in for the defense. It's 6 Springults down to 3. Not too bad when you consider how it could have gone. What a lovely surround there by Muslim. He's playing like a tactical genius, but is he running out of steam? His income says no. He does have to transition to yet more pastures. Only 11 right now. The gold isn't gonna last him forever. He took out a loan in that he did not invest in relics or sacred sign. Non-stop aggression. Viper is stabilizing. This guy is tenacious, Dave.
Yeah.
But then you knew that.
I've known that for many years, and he's coming forward with the Springults. I think the biggest problem for Viper right now is those ships. He took one down, but there's still one threat on the river, and they've prevented his siege from going across, and they've been sniping Springults the entire time. Those Lancer, the Knights, I think only got, what, 3 Springults?
Yeah.
Viper still kept the mass. That was great positioning from both players, to be honest.
That was like 8 bombard shots from the Bouchon, killing a single very unlucky archer. Boom.
Oh, jeez. They just explode.
But these cost 480, 480. Let's not pretend Bouchons are expensive. Yeah. As strong as they are a support unit.
And this one goes down.
He killed another villager. Guess it was worth it.
Okay, Knights trying to get in through this gate over here in the north, and that's finally an area that DeMusliM goes over to. And Viper, I think, still has villagers on the gold in the north there. So yeah, he's gonna make himself a keep to defend that area.
Quick keep to defend. It will be finished on time, and I think Step Redoubt has run out of gold. DeMusliM has to bring his Redoubt to the top and conquer this gold. That's what it's all about now, and he needs it more than what Viper needs it. Viper's gonna have, what, a handful of cabins, probably? Yep. He's got those 4
There's still
relics.
A relic over there on the right.
No, probably nobody knows where it is.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Because early game roots, everyone's like obsessed with killing deer and gathering sheep, and there's so many, like what, 36 on this map? And then you've got the docks. Very likely neither scouted that area at this time. Elite Spearman upgrade finally finishes, and we've got double time coming in. The Streltsy upgrade that allows you to get 70% movement speed and immediately gearing up to the maximum level of a normally slowly scaling stationary damage bonus.
Look at the military numbers now. 117 for Viper,
oh my
53 for DeMusliM.
And you know, Viper never really progressed past the 90 villagers, past the 90 income. This is very unusual at high level. Every high level player loves to go to 120 villagers at least. MarineLorD earlier had 146. Viper stayed on low numbers, but he didn't lose many units.
Nope.
He didn't engage in attrition. Eventually, it gives him a really badass big army. Not easy to reproduce, but in one fell swoop, it's a strong army. Is it going to be good enough? He's pushing in here.
He lost the Springolds there, but I think it's worth it, because I think he took out 2 Mangonels and like 3 cannons. 2 or 3 cannons, and he's pushing through the middle now. He's got, he's actually got no food in the bank, so he's got to be careful about that, but lots of units queued up.
We've got crossbows coming after he started Streltsy production. So we've got now, yeah, that's crossbows, right? Yeah. So he's got the double time upgrade, and he lost a lot of units. Knights are still here for DeMusliM. The Redoubt found 1 more gold node at the far right of the map, and that's it. I think the maximum
number... How many vills does he have on that? How many vills do you think that is?
I think you can have 36 touching it at the same time, but as they leave and go drop it off, you can have more. So I think that's like 45 villagers
45
probably.
Villagers, and that's why the income was so high, and you can still see it's super high, and Viper comes forward with a keep with 4 villagers of his own building that thing.
That's not a lot, just 4 villagers. 3, in fact, I think. There's 1 imposter standing on the right side that's actually an army unit. I think it's a men-at-arms. 4 silhouettes do we count? 3 are working. The slowest keep in the world. DeMusliM not yet in a position to stop it.
That cannon too. That cannon could be trouble as the Springbolts find it and it comes out of the siege workshop, and DeMuslim's got to be thinking, why didn't I pack that up earlier? Jeez, that was an unfortunate position for him. He really needs to build the numbers, and another one goes down right beside the town center. He's looking for a big fight here. He doesn't want to let Viper continue this push, continue building fortifications, and I believe he's going to try and take one here.
These last-minute keeps by Viper have been paying off big time. He secured that spot in the north side, protecting his gold.
There around the siege.
Yeah.
Saves all of it. He lost one at the north, and he's going to lose another one here, but I think the other one should be safe, and the keep goes up. Another cannon there, and it's going to be immediately sniped down.
Bombards down. DeMusliM flooding his final units, and things were looking so on the up and up for him. So good. Double town centers, non-stop aggression. He had outposts everywhere. He had a Bouch one, but Viper takes it back. It's 1-1.
And that was an incredible defense. And he did everything that we said he was going to do, where he just slowly, he gets greedy with the eco, cuts military production, slowly gains his advantage, and then snowballs it home. And DeMuslim's kind of thinking, what else could I have done differently there? Do I raid more? Do I not wait and let him mass up the Springolds? Do I not go for... or try to go for a faster Imperial and then go back into production again later? It's just questions to be had from him, but fantastic performance there from Viper, and we saw a really back-and-forth match.
I didn't think it was going to work out this way.
Yeah.
I think Demo had this. He had more villagers gathering a higher quality income, despite not getting any economy upgrades. With that readout, he gave away the relics, but whatever, he did so much pressure. Non-stop, all on top of Viper. He had the information advantage. Where was the turnaround point? Was it when Viper got that keep up in the middle of his base, that focal point of defense?
I don't even think it was the first keep. It was the second one. Because
which one?
The second one right beside it. There was 2 keeps
there.
And we saw DeMusliM easily take out that first one. He lost like 1 cannon to take it out, I think. You had trebuchets behind. But then he comes forward, and there's the second one there. And you can't go past that position. He even tried to go around with the cavalry. Viper had it walled, and he was just like, well, I guess I'll push in this area. And Viper was able to wait him out. And like you said, Viper didn't really lose many units in that transition period to the 4th age. He just let DeMusliM come at him. And that means that, like, with 88 villagers, he could sustain 111 military that he had at one point.
That's a scary approach, though, Dave.
Yeah.
I prefer to be really inefficient, make mistakes all game long, have a 1-hour game, but I've got 160 villagers.
Yeah.
I've got a 40-foot
It's
army.
A cushion. It's a nice cushion to fall back on.
You can lose it over and over, and you will, because you ain't got no army. But, like, Viper, the opposite approach, 90... It's very little. It's like 30 on food, 30 on gold, 30 on wood.
He had 4 relics too, though, to be fair.
That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe when you've got a couple of relics, you should be a little bit less greedy.
Yeah.
Maybe after getting 3 relics with Holy Roman, you shouldn't swab out to 130 villagers. Only way to lose. Gonna save that for later, thank you. But 90, that's a scary approach. You lose your army once. You don't look once. Mangonels, rain down havoc on your infantry.
You can't reproduce.
Can't reproduce.
Because you're going up to the next stage. And I think DeMusliM might be thinking about that moment in Castle Age where he had 1,700 food in the bank and just going, why didn't I do something with that earlier?
And if he doesn't ask himself that, we will.
Yeah, if he wins. We only interview the winners. So.
Yeah, we don't talk to the losers for like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
We do, but only if they want to. If they want space, we give it to them because we respect people. But yeah, we'll have a chance to ask things in an interview to the winner. This is an interesting one to ask about. Was he planning to go Imperial? Did he just have so much income he didn't know what to do with it? Time will tell, but we are at a 1-1. I'm so glad we made it here. I was afraid one of them was going to wipe 3-0.
Yeah.
Not the case.
And, like, if you talk to DeMusliM as well, I've been talking to him quite a bit over the last 24 hours or so. He didn't feel confident coming in here because he didn't have that practice, right? So, like, everyone that has been asking each other, the players have all been like, who's gonna win and where do you think you're gonna finish? And most of them are saying, I'll probably be bottom. I'll probably be bottom. And he's no exception. Everyone except MarineLorD is like, yeah, I'll probably be at the bottom. You know?
Nice.
But he's no exception. He's probably like the most outspoken. Like, I haven't practiced at all. I expect to lose this event.
DeMusliM, right?
Yeah. He's pretty nervous, but he got some good practice in today. He was in the practice room for a long time, and I think his, his hands are nice and warm, and he's fresh, and he's ready to go.
You know what's interesting? DeMusliM, he joined my gaming team in 2006, or at least I was part of it, as the British arm of the Warcraft 3 scene back then, and he was really, really young. And in those days, he also played tournaments. He played tourneys in StarCraft 2. He always seemed kind of like the nervous guy in tournaments, but I think he mellowed out a bit. He's learned to depressurize himself with low expectations, at least outwards. We don't know what's going on inside that beautiful head of his. And then, in the meantime, comes out, wins the Steel Series Cup, qualified for this by virtue of it.
Signs to Team Liquid.
Signs to Team Liquid.
Is
nice
a dad,
confidence boost.
is like casting for other events, And
now he's 1-1 with the Viper.
Yeah, he's a multitasker for sure. I respect it. I respect the grind. And he's 1-1. We're going into game number 3, and it's going to be his home map. And he has a lot of good civs left.
Now, Dave, if I asked you, where would you rank DeMusliM's top civilizations based on his reputation, his strength? What would you say, number 1 or maybe top 3?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay.
This is why you're here.
I'm throwing an easy ball here.
This is why you're here.
Okay, you ask me.
Grubby, if I were to ask you, where would you rank DeMusliM's favorite civilizations based on his rank, based on his reputation? What would you say?
Great question. Really good question.
Good.
Good. Good. I will answer it. I think Holy Roman Empire has long been his favorite.
Yeah.
He played a lot of English, but kind of his onboarding into Age of Empires kind of civilization. There we go.
You're proven right. You're proven right here.
His favorite. Hill and Dale, favorite map, favorite civ. There it is. And then I think top 3, Abbasid Dynasty. He's been doing a lot of that recently. And then I don't know actually what's number 3 for him. But Holy Roman and Abbasid is what he's known for. He took a victory with English. He lost just now with Mongols. He's not known for it, but I think he played it very well. No huge obvious mistakes. And now the Holy Roman Empire mirror matchup.
Yeah, and on the expected map as well, we've got Hillendale here, and the relic control is going to be key. And I guess the first thing we should look at is the relic positioning. It seems a little bit maybe in Viper's favor, but it's so tough to tell here because we got 2 on DeMusliM's side of the map, and we got 2 on Viper's side, and then we've got...
Well, let's say how many are in easy reach for DeMusliM. DeMusliM is red.
2.
He's spawning in the north. You've got the one to his right side.
Yeah.
Really easy reach. The one on his left, easy reach. The third one can't really be said to be easy reach. Yes, it is an easy reach, but it's a bit further from him than from the Viper and closer to Viper's wall. So there's this short running distance. Like, do you even get wet when you run that short of a distance in the rain before you're back to your front door?
I mean, Viper's relics...
One is for free,
One is free on the right, but the other one is kind of in the same situation as DeMusliM's, especially if there's some pressure in that gap between the cliffs.
Better for Demu, maybe.
Maybe.
And can we see that that relic on the right side at the little forest cluster? Yeah. Can we zoom in? Do we zoom in this tourney? Oh, there we go. There we go. That card
maybe
had
it
an
fell off
accident
the cart.
in a very unfortunate area. And I think it might be blocking the pathing from below. I'm not sure. If it is, that'll be funny. Maybe we'll learn of that situation later. Put a pin in that. And now let's look at the sheep situation. We don't talk about it a lot, but it actually kind of matters how many sheep each player gets. It's a zero-sum game, 24 sheep. Every sheep you don't get, your opponent is likely to get if the sheep aren't getting lost in the mountains. And it matters. Each one represents a safe food income of 150 food per sheep.
So how would you approach this matchup?
Well, it's interesting. Let's take a small walk through time as Nider's doing a Dark Age rush. Initially, Holy Roman Empire, the earliest solid understanding of the meta. Both players are coming in with the trimmest, leanest clothes. No, the trimmest, leanest builds going into Castle Age, trying to get there the quickest possible. How quickly can you make Castle with a lot of villager power building and a good economy spread?
But if you
8
know
minutes,
that,
8:39, that was level 1.
Yeah.
What was level 2 is disrupting the opponent with 1 stable and horseman. If I've got horsemen, but I'm 40 seconds slower, I'm still gonna hunt your prelates, and my prelates will have safe roam. So what's the next level? 2 stables. 2 stables beats 1. You delay your castle not to 9 minutes, but to 10 minutes or even 11. Now you've got a large squadron of horsemen roaming around, beating squadrons of singular stable-produced horsemen. Dave, what's the next level?
well, it's clearly spearmen.
3 stables!
3 stables! Your mind works differently from mine, my friend.
Just trying to be smart. Just add numbers. No, but we'll see. We'll see, really. I mean, archer, I would say archer play is the least likely, but both spears and stables is possible.
Okay, do you expect to see something like the forward walls that we see from other civs against them?
It's costly. Many of these builds make use for just enough villagers on wood, having 6 to 7 villagers on wood periodically, just to get 1 or 2 stables, then leaving 2 to 3 for a rainy day, a house here or there, maybe a second delayed stables. Actually sending villagers on such a low economy and then having fewer horsemen, that feels bad to me. I think horsemen do okay at burning through walls. I don't think you make any walls in this matchup. I think it's all about units. Horsemen and spears against horsemen and spears, or just horsemen, not just spears.
Well,
Why?
I hate to break
Because
it to you, but
what?
I don't see any stables.
Well, not yet. Are they just rushing both? Oh, there we go.
No, come on. Come on, Observer. You got to, come on, Vodka. What
Got
are you
him!
doing here, dude? You're killing me here. Come on.
He was hiding it from you. Yeah, we agreed to do that. Yo, good job, Vodka. But there's... Wait, double mill? Viper has double mill. Interesting. 1 for the deer, 1 for the berries. That's not a mistake, I think, right? Like
No. No, can't be. Is it? What's his production building there? It's a stable, okay.
Okay, stable against stable. Demo a little bit earlier with that stable. Scout starting to harass the villagers a little bit. And the important thing to look at as well is the food count, the gold count in this matchup. It's a race to castle. What they want is fast castle and relics. That much is clear. What they get is what the opponent allows.
Yep.
DeMusliM is set not to allow much. And I think we can see him as the leading master of this matchup. When he won against VortiX, I believe it was 4-3 in the Steel Series Cup, the tournament he won with many thousands of dollars of prize money. He also did great with Holy Roman Empire. And he, I think it's been his main civilization, Holy Roman, Abbasid. I think what he's showing here is built on hundreds of games of experience, albeit not in current patch. But current patch didn't change Holy Roman Empire much, if anything. So he's going to make a lot of horses. He sees the gold is extremely exposed here.
Yeah, and Viper is banking a lot of res. He's got 600 food in the bank. He's
going for it.
Almost 500 gold, but there's another thing there. Like, even if you get to Castle Age, it often depends on what state you're in when you reach there, right? You can't just get to Castle Age and then expect to be fine. If he's got horsemen running around and you're trying to go out and snag those relics, you got a big problem. And his economy is completely safe behind it. So Viper maybe towing the line once again, trying to get the greed in there, trying to get up to Castle Age a little bit faster. But DeMusliM, with 2 stables producing, has an ability to punish him. But now DeMusliM has cut production.
Okay.
So he's banking res now.
So quick, many horsemen with the double stables, and then boom, stop. What does he hope to do? An overreaction from Viper.
Yep.
But you describe Viper as a great underreactor
Yes.
or appropriate reactor. Scouting is the key then. We see a lot of horsemen coming in. It is reasonable for Viper to assume, if he has no further information, that 2, 4, and then 6 horsemen could mean 8 and then 10. That may lead him to make 4 to 6 spears, 6 horsemen, possibly too much. It's all about the age-up timing now. Viper seems unfazed, though, Dave. Look at his resources.
Yeah, he's got one more Spearman in production. He had one out there. He just backs up to the TC, and he's going to get some shots in on those Horsemen. They're going to have to back up. He's got Horsemen of his own still, and he goes for the Cathedral. But DeMusliM, I think, also has the Cathedral coming up. So the timing is similar here. The villager counts are identical. The military counts are identical.
Wow.
And after double stable with the Horsemen coming forward for DeMusliM early, not finding any picks, we are going to the Castle Age at exactly the same time in almost exactly the same circumstances.
Exactly. Like 8 villagers on it, both of them. Now, Viper will have more investments to make in upgrades.
Yep.
He's got, what? Does he have Dark Age Spearman? I don't know if he got the Hardened Spearman upgrade. Yeah, they're Dark Age. So Dark Age Spearman and a Stables is a worse setup than double stable in Castle Age. Knights will do fine against Dark Age Spearmen. So that's interesting. DeMusliM can support these with Knights, and he's still got more Horsemen, so they're better at chasing Prelates. It's all about who gets more of the relics here, Dave.
Yep.
And it's about to go down.
And Viper is sending the Prelate out already, and he's kind of pulling that army away from DeMusliM, and Viper's going to snag that and say, thank you very much, I'm on the way back. DeMusliM trying to get away with that relic. He's going for the Wallalow here.
It's going to pop, it's going to pop.
I think it's going to connect.
No!
Oh my god, that was frame perfect there from Viper taking out that Prelate at exactly the right moment.
One more frame and the Horseman turn neutral and the Prelate dies. Actually happens. It actually happens. The Horseman will belong to nobody. They're going for the next Prelate. Many old men trying to bring back precious artifacts falling here as Horsemen are going around. Oh, there we go. That one goes to DeMusliM.
Well, we won't know if he passed around the cart now.
We'll never know
Can
now.
you put that back? Can we actually get a request? Put it back.
So Demo has 2. He's trying to get a 3rd. He's been denied it once, and he's going for it again. Doesn't look like Viper's in a position to stop him. So it looks like we will stop the count at 3-2 in favor of DeMusliM.
And I think Viper was actually sending out another Prelate, to try and find that. And he's actually sending one over to maybe even the Sacred Site now as he notices the relics are gone.
So a combination of spears, horses, scouts, and knights from the Viper. Typically, I would normally expect around this time Viper to randomly put 2 villagers on stone. He often does stuff like that. But it seems like even he, in this moment, realizes the single-minded requirement of focusing on relics, sites, and the Horseman battles.
So you're in Viper's position. You have less Horsemen. You now have less relics. You don't have much map control. And he's going to decide to wall up on the left-hand side and get Wheelbarrow.
Yeah, I think it's correct. You have to wall up. They're both getting Wheelbarrow from the looks of it. I think you have to wall. Spearmen have a passive role into Horsemen. You need to narrow the amount of area that is available to Horsemen to outmaneuver you.
But
and
still,
you're not
behind.
Happy to turtle, though, with 2 relics into 3.
No, because you're behind by a relic. So if
well,
anything...
2 relics, because he hasn't stuffed it yet.
If anything, I mean, you should be the one presenting aggression against your opponent.
Correct.
And trying to kill their villagers. So this has got to be a very uncomfortable situation for Viper.
I will say it's okay. I've been in this situation often. 2 relics is still very, very fine. Obviously, 3 is more. It's a 300 gold difference that is significant. And villager count is the same. It doesn't matter. But it's definitely not insurmountable. I'll tell you what, if you pressure now, you're behind the equivalent of 7 villagers on an economy of 35 villagers. That's a large percentage. That's 20%. But the longer the game goes on, eventually you both have 90 villagers. Now
Has he
the
still
7.
not dropped that off?
No, he hasn't.
Viper, he's hiding behind the building.
But you know what I mean? Like, the longer the game goes on, even though they have more and more extra gold compared to you in absolute numbers, it represents a much smaller
percentage of the total value,
Yeah, so, like, you're fine drawing the game out, even though it feels counterintuitive because, quote-unquote, you're getting behind further and further. But percentually, you're not.
So Viper trying to trap these Horsemen here. No pressure on DeMusliM's economy at all this entire game. Viper did get that Sacred Site over on the right side.
But did he put the relic inside yet?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, good play. We support this play.
We support relics inside cathedrals. Yes.
And he lost a couple of villagers. He was building walls, and he's now down 5 villagers. They were even. And now suddenly we're talking about a 12 villager equivalent of economy disparity.
And the infantry upgrades coming in for DeMusliM, so he's going to make the switch, which is expected. Viper trying to go for a wall on that right-hand side, and he's actually getting another sacred site, or he was getting another sacred site with his prelate, and that is almost complete. So for the time being, those will somewhat make up for the extra relic that DeMusliM has, but he's probably going to contest these anyway, so Viper can't bank on having those throughout the entire game.
Bam! Take it. But the thing is, these are very well-positioned sacred sites. Like, this is actually pretty crazy. A couple of walls here and there, and Viper can start to take control of the eastern floodplains.
Look at his gold bank.
Yeah, what's going on
2,400 for Viper, and I think he just used the market, or he's using it a little bit, because it went down there.
Yeah, he probably bought food and then immediately spent it. We didn't see any other resource go up, but that's probably what happened. And he had to gather stone, because he was like, this relic thing, it isn't working. Oh, you have to put it inside the Recnits. And that's why he had so many villagers on gold for the time being. You know what actually happened? I think he's going up in age already. Can we take a look?
Oh, he might be.
Because it doesn't show on the overlay, but there's like a few seconds of delay. He must be making Swabia. Let's look at the blue base.
Look at it. Oh, Viper getting a little bit of a raid there, but let's look at Viper's base.
Is there a Swabia?
I don't see anything. He didn't have the food count. I was keeping my eye on the food count, and he never had it.
All right. He's just making a large army. He's actually going castle all in, isn't he? Yeah, it's a castle all in. He started some harassment. Hasn't killed a lot of villagers yet.
Still hasn't completed that wall either. And yeah, he's going to be able to hold on to that sacred site, but there's a big army coming in here from DeMusliM. Viper's still running around with like 4 knights at the front. So he's trying to do harassment, trying to divide DeMuslim's attention a little bit while he builds up. But we look at the military count, and it's still in DeMuslim's favor.
And you know what those are? You see those long Zweihander swords, the 2-handed swords? These are Landsknechten. 10 knights and that many Landsknechten and 3 horsemen. This will shred through any army. Upgrades 1 ranged iron under mesh that will help the Landsknecht a bit into the town center. And what does Viper have? Spears and knights.
And Viper's its entire farming economy is now idle.
It's idle.
And we mentioned food was a problem for him. It's going to become a bigger problem as DeMusliM just chooses to burn the fields. And I like this a lot because it's going to stall out the momentum.
That's unusual, isn't it? But it's so worth it. They're really easy to kill.
He's not doing anything else back here.
How much does a house cost? 50. A farm? 75.
Yep.
What's the harder to kill? A farm by a magnitude of 10. So it's actually a really smart attack target, but mostly Mongols go for it. Anyway, fight is going on. We've got a couple of Zweihander from the Viper himself, some of those Landsknecht. But look at this dominating force from the DeMusliM here.
Oh, look at how many went down there. Are those villager bodies? No, that was military bodies, right?
Well, he killed many villagers, yes. More than 10 from the DeMusliM. But the main army in the meantime, that's a lot of blue bodies, courtesy of Landsknechten. DeMusliM knows the sick army composition. He discovered Landsknechten before anyone else, really, I would say, at the high level. Of course, there's someone watching a Twitch who's like, no, dude, I love Landsknechten. Yeah,
I think,
sure
honestly, I think you're just like saying that name.
Yeah. Rubbing in my Europeanness.
You've said it 10 times in the last 3 sentences.
Welcome to Europe, Dave.
You know I can't say it correctly, and you're just rubbing it in at this point.
No, I'm bearing the burden for the both of us. You know how it destroys your throat saying this song, and I'm taking that sacrifice because I want you to be comfortable, Dave.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And Viper, I mean, speaking of comfort, Viper has no comfort right now. His military went down.
Look at all those villagers.
And look at the villagers wondering, they don't have a job yet. There's no fields to plow.
They have this return to work command, and they dutifully go to the farms. But there are no more farms left.
Yeah, we need the MiSTA to get on that and maybe set up some new fields for these guys as villagers
continue. Wait, is he a farmer in real life?
Oh, yes. Oh. You haven't talked to him about his crops yet.
No, not yet.
You need to get
Yo,
rolling
how are your
on
crops
here.
doing? He's like, starts backing up his keyboard. He's like, I need to go home. Harvest. No, but that's cool. I think it's great gardening, especially in this digital age. Even if you just grow like 1 plant and then you talk to it a bit every day. I think that's great. Like, kind of connect with your earthen roots, you know?
Lands connect with them, yeah. See what you're doing. All right, so after all is said and done here, it's 34 villagers to 34 villagers with only an extra relic for DeMusliM. But the military count right now, 13 for
Oh.
Viper and 42 for DeMusliM. And now Viper has to replace all those cute little farms that he lost.
Wow. Yeah, we went back all the way to the Dark Ages almost. Viper lost that battle big time. And you're faced with an army of Landsknechten. It's funny. How do you... I don't want to work with this guy anymore. He keeps saying the word that I don't know what it is.
How do you do what?
What?
You were going to ask me a question. You said, how do you do...
No, I don't want to say it anymore now.
Oh, because it has the word in it?
Yes.
I give
How
you
do
permission.
you deal with the unit that must not be named? What is the theoretical counter to them when you're excluding siege? Oh, look, we've got our answer. You can go past the little cute cart. You see, that was that was the
Oh,
location.
yeah, I forgot about that.
It's a
It was so
freaking
long ago.
bloodbath place. Yeah. Well, I said put a pin on it. I'm unpinning it. But the thing is, Landsknechten, they die to archers, but they also kill archers.
Yep.
They don't have a very easy counter, actually. Oh, the esports head shake from our Viper.
And Viper's going to go down there, and it just seemed... I mean, it seemed inevitable after that raid on the farms, the raid on the woodline, and clearing up all that army back there. Viper had some pressure forward. We went back. I was shocked to see the amount of dead bodies there, but DeMusliM was able to clear it up, and Viper was never able to, you know, dampen the effect of that army on his economy, and losing those farms hurt him so much.
It did.
We saw the villagers come back out and say, like, what's going on? And he couldn't produce because he didn't have the food eco, and that was great play from DeMusliM. You called it.
It really was. And, you know, when you see a situation like that, it's the simple good things that make you think, duh,
Yeah.
right? But, like, it makes sense. DeMusliM figured that out. I mean, that's what pros do, right? They figure things out before others. They question certain beliefs that are held knowingly or unknowingly. And he's like, farms are an excellent attack target. I
Yep.
am directly attacking your food income because it will impede your ability to go Swabia
And you know
or
you
indeed
can't
do anything.
You know you can't attack their gold income. You just waste time trying to
Right.
attack that building, right? So you got to shift to something else. Attack the food.
Do you attack the wood?
Yeah.
I mean, wood is the ability to expand your infrastructure,
Yep.
but there's no archers and mangonels here right now. Food is the #1 target.
Yep.
The Muslim 5 head.
I'm amazed that he made double stable,
Yeah.
and he got up at exactly the same time, producing more horsemen than Viper. He got up to Castle Age at exactly the
horses.
same time.
2 stables and 8 horses against what? 4, 5, 6 spears?
He had 3 horsemen of his own, and then like 4 spearmen or something.
Might just be the...
He did make a mill. He did make an extra mill though.
Yeah, true. That
Yeah.
50 wood, GG.
And DeMuslim's deer were right beside his mill, so maybe it's 50 wood. Maybe I don't know.
Might
I'm looking
be-
for something.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like we looked more at Viper space than at the Muslim space. Maybe, I don't know if we let that or if we just by accident. But I think that the Muslim maybe had a better Aachen location. Is that possible? Did he cover gold and wood? And Viper did not? Because Viper's gold was bottom right of his town center, if I recall correctly.
It might have been.
Yeah, his gold was bottom right of
His
his town
gold
center.
definitely.
Not covered in the same Aachen as wood.
Yeah.
So
It's the little things that add
Yeah.
up over time.
yeah, that might be why. But I still think the Muslims showed a good mastery of the matchup. He did have slightly better access to 3 relics,
Yep.
but it wasn't unimaginable for Viper to get 3 himself. He had the larger fighting force. Either way, both had a chance to win. The Muslim takes it with his specialty. Now we go to Dry Arabia. Viper goes to his home map. And what's he going to take there? Chinese, English, French, or Mongols?
So Delhi was banned out. I didn't get to see the Civ bans there. What were the Civ bans for both players? I've forgotten already.
Delhi for both, because they
Delhi
both
for
have access
Delhi
to
for
Mongols.
both. Okay, yeah. So
Interesting.
I would feel when he's down 2-1, Viper will be thinking less about his Civ and more about what his opponent's going to pick here.
Okay,
And
so
then he'll counter that.
let's say level 1 psychology, Viper takes Mongols, herder, best Civ, right?
Yeah.
So what would you expect the Muslim to take Mongols out with on Dry Arabia? Abbasid, French, Rus, or Chinese?
I think you can do it with French.
So let's say it's French, right?
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I don't watch this matchup a lot. I used to avoid watching Mongols because herder. But French, if you expect that and you say, Either I lose 1-3
Yeah.
or I lose 2-3.
What's a good matchup against French?
It doesn't make much difference to me. I'll save Mongols for the last, even though I'm at match point.
Yeah.
I'm expecting the Mongol counterpick now, and instead I'm going for something that counters the Mongol counterpick. So let's say he's going for a French mirror instead, or maybe English into French. Or, yeah, it's not going to be Chinese on Dry Arabia. Let's not kid ourselves.
I mean, it's not Leenock.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what's a good Chinese map? Leenock says everything.
Yeah.
You know, other players say
No.
these two.
Except yet last night when everyone was asking what Civ Leenock thought was strong, and he's like, no, Chinese suck. Because he didn't want them to ban him against him. So.
Nice try, buddy. We've seen your stream.
Yeah, that's level 1 psychology right there in play.
So I think either you look ahead, map score can matter.
Yeah.
I've never casted a Swiss group like this, but I understand that sometimes in an 8-player group, you're going to play 5 matches, right? So you're not going to meet everybody. There's 2 players you don't meet.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, it can come down to a single map. You are 3-2, someone else is 3-2, but you end up not advancing because of the map differential. So, according to that logic, Viper will go Mongols now. According to the logic, I don't care by what score I lose the best of 5. I want to win the best of 5, and I want to do the unexpected. You delay Mongols to the 5th map.
I think Viper has the second mentality.
Go for broke.
Yeah. I think he wants to win the set.
Then it's going to be French-French or English-French next.
Also, it must be said, Viper doesn't like playing late, and we're in the last series of the day. And that actually plays a factor, I think, in his mentality.
Okay. If I'm going to stay up for 5 games or for the whole thing, I better win.
Yeah.
And I'll come up with a strategy that can win the whole thing rather than drag it out. Okay.
Yeah. That's my impression, though. But we'll see. We'll see here. And what Civ would you personally, let's say theoretically, we're on level 2 now, right?
Yeah.
Let's take it up to level 3 here.
Okay.
Okay, so level 2 is that he's picking French.
So DeMusliM knows. Oh.
And now Viper has picked French maybe because he thought he could win that
I think
mirror.
DeMusliM is on level 3.
He's thinking...
Don't contain your head. Don't let it explode. Chat, Dave, keep it together. Keep it together. I think you led us into this, and I'm going to finish it. I think DeMusliM is on level 3.
Level 3? I think, yep.
Level
he's taking
1.
the stairs.
French into Mongols. Level 2. Viper says, I'll keep French. I'll do French now.
He's
I'll keep Mongols for
levitating in
later.
his mind palace right now.
And then DeMusliM is like, who's got long spears?
Yep.
Abbasid into French. Bam.
Abbasid.
Level 3.
And we saw Abbasid in the first game from Viper. Now, granted, that was against the English. And now we're going to see them against the French here. And I spoke to Mista about all the matchups, but I spoke to him about this matchup. And he said the key to this one is if they go second TC, you have to control the berries so that they don't TC on the berries there, and then you can stall out their food income. So they'll have enough food to produce villagers, but they won't have enough to produce army.
Wow.
And you keep a couple knights roaming around to just get yourself map position.
I never thought about the game that way.
Yeah. That's why he spends so much time plowing his fields. He just has time to think.
It's true, actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes sportsmen improve the most during an injury.
That's if you believe the theory, anyway. That was his take.
Turns out it's actually a terrible way to play.
Yeah,
controlling berries.
It sounded convincing.
He's
to
just
me,
throwing you for a loop. He can tell you anything.
No, he could. I mean, I was hypnotized.
I'm hypnotized by hearsay.
Yeah. Okay, so we have the matchup right here, and unsurprisingly, we have Viper on gold already with quite a few villagers, and DeMusliM is on the berries at the back. So let's look at the other berry positionings here, actually, now that we were talking about it. And it looks like we have one over to the left, and then there's one way up to the north. So
they're both pretty far for a TC. Safest is TC, touching TC.
Yep.
By the way, you know what level 4 psychology is?
Okay, take me there.
Randomize it.
Yes. That's
Can't predict.
Yeah. That's the chaos level, right?
Well, ask them in the interview if they did, in fact, randomize their Civ for map number 4.
All right, so School of Cavalry, no surprise whatsoever from Viper, as he brings in quite a few sheep, so he's going to have a lot of food under his CC. I think he had like 8 or 9 there, I think.
Ops, can you press Control-Shift-A? Is that something you're allowed to do? then you can see how many sheep someone has. If you have that hotkey. Oh, well, he's found an
9.
alternate. Yeah, but that doesn't include the corpses, see? Ctrl-Shift-A? No?
We have this fancy overlay, and if we mess with too many things, the overlay may break.
Sure, yeah.
So you can't blame them for not wanting
No,
to
of course.
potentially break
Experimenting
this
things.
beautiful overlay here.
Yeah,
This is innovative technology.
Fair enough.
Groundbreaking. And there's DeMusliM going on stone already, so he's thinking about that second TC.
And this isn't like what VortiX did, where VortiX did a save for Spearman into town center, where he got his town center at the 7-minute mark.
Yep.
This is one of them early town centers. This is this is Terran greed at this point. Like, he's going straight for the stone. He's going to pop down that thing at 5:15, 5:30, 5:45, something like that. No, he's working on wheelbarrow. Okay, so my earliest second TC when I play wheelbarrow fresh foodstuffs is 6 minutes. I just released the build order with that. If DeMusliM is going to hit it at like 5:30, the second TC, I'm going to be pissed because it means my build sucks.
Yeah, it's outdated already.
Maybe. We'll
New
see.
YouTube video.
Yeah.
And you can't get it out there for another week.
Why not?
Because you'll be here.
No, it's out already.
No, but the one with the 4:30 or the 5:30.
Oh, like if I want to update it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, obviously. I'll be on the outside looking in, window shopping only. Let's see when DeMusliM starts that second TC with that wheelbarrow upgrade already in the bank. It's a very economic opening. Viper, first knight is out.
Yeah, and we'll see what he uses that knight to do. It's likely going to be harassing the eco, looking for opportunities at DeMuslim's base. And DeMuslim going for a wall forward, so he wants to focus everything in through the sides there. And he's even going for an outpost as well. That's going to give him another building to contribute towards his golden age.
Yep. No barracks, though. Outpost and walls. And I'm feeling better and better about that timing slot. These walls, in theory, the fact that he made an outpost and walls, numerous walls, means that I think he will have his TC starting at 6:15, 6:25 perhaps. That's pretty late. There can be several knights and archers on the field. I think Demu's being greedy. I feel that Viper should be able to get quite ahead from this and have some kind of 12, 13-minute timing attack that ends DeMusliM, but DeMusliM is very good at Abbasid. Like, he's probably going to go like triple TC or something during all this.
But Viper will see the walls and he'll read the greed, right? He knows greed. He's done it in the past, and he's going to be sending his military units forward right away. So all the waypoints are set forward, and it's just about how much damage he can do. And behind this, of course, he's going to have the French. So their TC is going to be producing a little bit faster, and his economy is going to be generally better on one TC than it would be against another one TC opponent, but still it's going to be 2 TCs.
Yeah, it's like a soft song dynasty, right?
Yeah.
What French has running.
All right, stable for DeMusliM, and the knight comes into the berries, and now he's cut off the food income there, so he's going to the sheep, and I believe he had, what, 6 carcasses under his TC? So that's not going to last for too long if the berries keep getting harassed.
And you look at that stone bank for DeMusliM, he's got 300, and what's interesting is if you have 300 now but not the wood, then you overmine early, says standard economy theory for Age of Empires. But on the other hand, having it already, even though you can't build the town center yet, it means you never have to go back to that area where you're under risk of being harassed. So it's not a bad way to do it this way, even if you end up popping it down at 7:15, 7:30, or even 8 minutes.
Well, he decided to go for the stable first, right? He wanted a little bit more security. I think he saw the archer in the middle and immediately dropped that stable.
Makes
sense.
sense.
These might be a threat. Viper's being very aggressive here. He's not playing defensively. Now the archers are on my berries. And I keep keeping an eye on the food income there for DeMusliM as he goes for that second town center.
It's going to suffer.
It's going to really suffer, especially if he keeps producing horsemen, which he's doing.
Yeah. And the berries are being controlled, like you said, Dave. And at this point, what you can do is just put like 20 villagers on wood. That's DeMusliM. And then you go into a farm economy. But
and you got 2 TCs to protect it, but still, it's going to be really cramped in there.
It's so cramped, and you're giving you have so much momentum loss. Those farms are a slow burn. Not normally what you would want to go into here. DeMusliM, I would expect him to get a couple of farms to tide things through, try to make enough units to reclaim his berries. Honestly, I could see him go for a 3rd TC at that point.
Yeah. And there's the outpost already from Viper. We see the villager production from Viper still ahead. as the French, but the second TC is now down. DeMusliM kind of scouting that area, like, is it safe to go back out there again? He's got horsemen, and the archers are trying to hide, but they won't be hiding for very long. Those things will be taken out immediately.
What's that? Must have been the wind. Income horsemen. And this is good. Now, Viper did gather some stone. He's got 2 villagers on stone, maybe 3. He's going to make an arrow slit the tower there, kind of harass the wood, as he knows wood is the key to a healthy food economy with farms coming out. Has one outpost there.
But he's got knights now on the gold, so every time DeMusliM tries to expand to these external areas of his base, Viper is there with the knights, and he can kind of hit and run, get that charge attack, and then dip out. And the horsemen he knew were in the north, so the horsemen are now coming back to try and deal with the knights. He gets a good initial engagement there, and then turns his attention to the villagers.
Kills one. Second one down also, and no knights have gone down. Nice kills there from Viper. Good multitask awareness. We, the observers, look at this area, but many other things are going on at the same time. The knights are running. Horsemen will eventually run him down. We've got 2 outposts, 1 on each wood line. Of course, if there's enough horsemen from DeMusliM, he can just take those outposts down, arrow slits or not.
Yep, and Viper already with wheelbarrow, already with agriculture as well, or horticulture. Is it agriculture, horticulture?
The first one I think is called horticulture.
Horticulture, okay.
Do you actually know what horticulture means?
It's like a gardening term.
Yeah, I know that, but I wonder like what crops is that?
I know it's like vaguely associated with gardening. It has so many English words. Like I know what group it's part of. You know.
Exactly. Well, interesting. Mista culture. Yeah, we should ask Mista chat. So, 1 tower on each side. Arrow slits coming out. DeMusliM is kind of stabilizing, and look at that stone income counter for DeMusliM.
Yep,
he's doing it.
Yep, he's got 100 stone again, and Viper now starting to add a few farms. I see only 1 there, but he's going to get his food eco up and rolling. He's down to 270 income per minute now on food. Oh, he's gone into the deer, I see, way far away from his base.
Okay, some travel time. I remember when people used to go for boars. One of the early tournaments I watched. Doesn't happen a whole lot anymore. And it's so funny that Viper made 1 farm. I actually intrinsically feel instinctively that it's the correct way to do it, to make 1 farm, then 2, then 3, every, I don't know, 37 or 49 seconds. But we always do it in these big swathes because it's easier to multitask.
The way you do it in AoE too, as we see a little bit of an engagement here, you usually want to place them as soon as you have enough wood. So we'll do them like 1 at a time.
Right.
And that's just natural for us.
It's more multitask heavy, but
exactly.
It makes sense because otherwise you get this big drop in your wood, and then you get this.
Of course, there's always late game panic farms,
sure,
which everyone does. But Viper is going to be caught off guard out of that outpost, and now he's stuck.
Yeah, a lot of knights occupying a singular point in space, creating a singularity. The horsemen are being drawn towards it, but they destroy it. Singularity destroyed, crisis averted, and nice job there for DeMusliM, who is basically going both castle and 3rd TC at the same time, if that's how he wants to play it. He's definitely set up in that way if he wants it. He has stabilized, but that outpost is being a little plonker.
And a villager goes down, and she screamed. She really screamed that she went down.
But who knows,
well,
right?
I mean, it was a drama queen anyway. So Viper is still only 2 villagers behind, and he's in the 3rd age. And remember, DeMusliM has had 2 TCs.
He's ready to age up soon himself, and you know he spent less food on his villagers at the very least. One can
and
say.
Now Viper might lose some. No, good attempt at a raid there, but good response from Viper to pull those villagers away. And Viper is going to be going into 3 barracks here.
Wow. Yeah, he had no army at all anymore, and now he's going men-at-arms. It's going to be men-at-arms flood. Upgrades-wise, he's got 1 ranged under mesh, so...
Ooh, and now it's a ram from DeMusliM? Did he not see the barracks over there, or is he just concerned about clearing up those outposts?
He wants to clear up the outposts. He wants to restore his wood economy, right? But those rams and spears, how well do they perform into knights? And what's more, DeMusliM doesn't seem to have clicked age up yet. Now he has enough food for it. Now he's aging up. There we go. Culture win coming out. The Viper's already got men-at-arms coming across the field, maybe 6 or so.
Yep. He had production from 3 barracks, and he's got 2 more in the queue. He's now going for a TC on the forward wood line, so he's going to be able to secure his wood line.
I think it's on deer as well. If I look at the minimap, it's relatively close. It's like both wood and deer. Yeah, that's a nice location.
TC.
Little exposed though, and there is a ram on the field.
Yeah, a lot of horsemen here too from DeMusliM. 27 military on the field from DeMusliM, only 7 from Viper. Given they are high impact units, but still the numbers difference here is huge as Viper escapes with that knight. And I wonder where Viper will focus his attack. Will he try and go around again, or is he just going to build his numbers?
Well, he can't build anything right now. He's got 2 TCs, which require, let's see, 17 seconds of villager. So he's making 3.5 villagers per minute per TC. That's 7. That's costs how much food?
Market to balance. Yeah.
That's 350 food per minute.
Yep.
And he's got 700 food per minute. He can barely make as much army as he's making villagers, you know. That's he's very poor.
Well, he saw his gold count and he immediately dropped a market, so he's going to try and balance it out a little bit. Maybe get some more villagers on food, and maybe that's part of the reason he went to that TC. Gets another villager on the berries there, but the knight does fall, so Viper, very low knight numbers now. He's just fully focused on the infantry, so no opportunity for those mobile raids. But after all of this, 2 TCs start for DeMusliM, still only 5 villagers behind. Oh, 7 now.
Yeah, but now he's castle. He's going to get cheap upgrades. He has a much larger army because of the food saved from fresh foodstuffs. And is he making villagers 2 at a time or 3? Can we see how many town centers DeMusliM has presently? 1,
I think
2.
I only saw 2 there. I
Can
don't
we scroll
know
up?
if we have another one. No,
Just 2.
We don't, yeah.
So the stone he's gathering very slowly with like what, 3 villagers? 2, 3 villagers. It's going towards a keep eventually. Where is he going to make it? Is it one of them aggressive keeps, a staging ground for a final offensive, or a defensive one to consolidate his forces?
It's Viper. It's not going to be an aggressive keep.
No, DeMusliM, right?
Oh, I'm looking at Viper's resources because he's also building up stone.
Right, they're both working on
Yeah.
it, right? But suddenly DeMusliM lost some stone. Did he make a 3rd TC? Like, I keep obsessing about it. Maybe he's not. Maybe it's just like tower
Yeah, I think
outposts.
there
and
is
stuff.
one in the north. You can notice from the little icons in the minimap. I believe there is one in the north from DeMusliM. There it is.
3rd TC. There we go. I knew it.
And it's on the stone.
I'm reading you, Demu.
And now he's expanding. He's all out of the berries, so he's expanding out to the deer. I don't think, and he's expanding out to those berries. I don't think DeMusliM has added any farms behind this. So if
Really?
Viper manages to get some raids
Oh my
and
God.
on those external sources, that is the weakness right now for DeMusliM. If Viper hits this food eco once again,
Wow. Viper can try to hit the food income, but he's got 8 army.
Yeah.
Into 33. These spearmen from Beastyqt, they're doing pretty okay.
Yeah.
Into 1 minute arms.
well, I mean, you would expect so. And now Viper's adding army. We asked for it, and we shall receive. He's got multiple stables now.
Are
He's
stables
adding more
to play
spearmen of his
though
own.
into mass spears?
I don't know. He knows what the army is from DeMusliM because he just had a fight with it. So clearly he thinks that that is an option, and maybe he's making the cavalry just for some mobility, maybe for some raids, but
Yeah.
he's going to need it to defend pretty soon because there's 2 mangonels and a ram being built now in the middle of the field there from DeMusliM as Viper goes around with those spearmen, and we'll discover there's 2 outposts on the berries in the north.
Yeah, I suppose, Dave, if you're going mass spears, Viper can know what's coming. Like, he knows it's going to be a mangonel build.
Yeah.
So if he tries to counter spears with archers, mangonels are going to have a bit of a giggle.
Yeah,
Poke
we
'em.
see the spears getting some damage. Don't quite take out the villagers. They hop in just in time, and now here comes the big siege push from DeMusliM. DeMusliM has some infantry there. He's got some horsemen and the rams, the spears, and the mangonels behind. Viper with the knights trying to loop around, catch that siege off guard, maybe flank them a little bit, but the spearmen are there. Good positioning from DeMusliM.
DeMusliM pushing in with the mangonels here. This is the scary castle age timing by Beastyqt Dynasty. He takes out the siege workshop immediately. Unfortunately positioned towards the front. Viper's decision coming back to bite him a 4th and a 5th Mangonel are in production. There are horsemen here to buffer against any would-be archers that could take out
Viper
his
does have enough for
spares.
keep, though, and there it is.
Okay.
Right behind that TC. So that tells me he's willing to lose this town center, but he doesn't want DeMusliM pushing into the rest of his base. Building that with a lot of villagers here and just defending with the spearmen for now. The Mangonel's still not in range of that army, and Viper pulls back. 70 villagers for Viper, 81 for DeMusliM. So the boom is paying off for DeMusliM. He waited, and then suddenly he got the timing, and he comes forward with all this siege, and we'll see if Viper can stop it.
DeMusliM is working on 1 melee armor. He's got 1 ranged armor, 1 melee attack. Just really nuanced stuff here, sequentially pumping out small little goodness for his army. He's going for the marketplace now. Should be a high priority target in any situation. No, stables, come on. I think marketplace is a good takeout
It's a momentum
target.
killer.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that big of an investment, but if you need to go to it in a panic moment, it's a momentum killer.
Yeah, I
for sure.
suppose you could make it again. That's
Yeah.
true. But oftentimes someone may not, and suddenly they can't trade in a crucial moment.
The Rams committing, though, fully against the keep, and I think Viper might be able to take one of them down. He does. He might take the other one down. No, he garrisons the units instead, and he's chasing after that 3rd Ram. He pops out again to try and kill the other Ram, but his army is going down in the midst of this. Muslim getting some great hits there, and the Mangonel's still firing from behind.
And Mangonels do okay into buildings. They do like double damage. This is a superior force here by DeMusliM, a well-orchestrated attack. It does look like that's going to be it. GG, DeMusliM takes it 3-1 against the Viper.
3-1 against the Viper. He's got to be happy with that, and credit to him. I mean, he played it great. The HRE matchup was fantastic. It was a great show. In this last one, he took a calculated risk, right? He went for that second TC, went for the walls, and he waited for his moment, and it all paid off.
It sure did. And I have one question for you, Dave. Do you remember what we were going to ask him in like game 1 or 2?
Yes. Did you intend to go to Imperial Age, or did you look at your food bank?
Oh, yeah. The Mongol game.
Yeah.
When he had 1,700 food.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
let's
yes.
let's
So we'll
only
save it
ask
up.
him about his loss, okay?
Yeah.
Keep his...
Maybe we can ask him if he can say Lens Connect.
I've seen a lot of people just accept it and just say snakes, like whatever, like how we say ovu and stuff.
Yeah. No, that was good,
sick.
man. That was really good. And I think Viper's going to take a lot of notes from that series and maybe put in some practice tomorrow and revise his gameplay a little bit. And DeMusliM may be taking some confidence from that series, honestly.
But Viper's also kind of a fisherman, isn't he? Like when you see in at least in ladder, he's often fishing for builds. I don't think that's what happened here. I think our 3 levels of psychology thing, we were onto something.
He was on the 2nd level. DeMusliM was on the 3rd level, levitating.
Yeah, 3 is higher than 2. And
yeah, exactly.
We'll ask him more
He's
about
wondering
that.
what the hell we're talking.
He's like, yeah, I'm always on level 3. That's the best place to be. 4 is chaos. It's like madness. But 2 is like, it's way too simple for people like me. Anyway, we'll ask more about that later. But that was a really solid, legit victory.
Yep, and that is a great way to finish off the day, actually, in terms of sets. And I'm glad everyone could be here with us. We're not done yet because we got to still interview the guy and ask him all the important questions. But thank you for being here with us during those games. Make sure you continue to support the tournament and continue to support our wonderful host, Nilly_AOE. That's twitch.tv/Nilly_AOE. And all subs, donations, and views, follows, etc., bits.
Yeah, do it all.
Pennies.
Like, do all of those,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like, is there like one they shouldn't do? Is like,
Well,
don't
I mean,
need to follow. Don't need
I
to.
wouldn't follow his TikTok. It's a bit weird.
But in the Twitch channel, if there is a button, you should probably click it if you
Yes.
want to support
Mods, don't
more
follow
content
that.
like this.
Mods.
No!
Mods. Yeah.
Run!
Yeah. Okay. So are we ready? Are we good to go for the interview here? We got a lot of questions to
I
ask
think
our man.
first we've got highlights coming when we're
No,
ready.
we don't. No.
No highlights
Highlights are
coming.
after the interview. The
All right,
interview
all
is
right.
the highlight.
All right. We go? All right. Let's get up and show legs.
I'm so nervous.
Oh, I'm gonna sit. You should sit in the middle. Like a focus of attention.
No.
It didn't work. Let's do it like this.
Okay.
It's hard for them to look at us.
I understand the feeling. Yeah.
Testing.
Test. We good? We good? Let's assume we're good.
DeMusliM, you just won 3-1 against Viper. You've been telling me how unconfident you are in yourself and how you were going to finish last in this tournament. Now you haven't practiced. And then you put on such a convincing show there. What does that do for your confidence?
I mean, I'm feeling good to get a map on the board and stuff, you know, because
Yeah.
I saw LucifoN in the game before, and I was like, oh, he went 0-3, then it won't look so bad if I go 0-3. But no, I'm super stoked. I think some of the matchups definitely favored me when it goes to playing against the Viper. But I got to say, Russ super impressed me with how he went like fast H3 and then went Springolds and stuff, because I was super confused and I just got stuck into like tunnel vision mode. But no, I'm super happy, super happy.
So really interesting. Let's jump to the end first. We've got more questions and obviously fantastic performance. We were theory crafting about map number 4, the one you just ended up winning. You had French. Were you expecting... sorry, you had Abbasid, right? Were you expecting the French to come out or the Mongols on Dry Arabia here?
I was actually expecting Mongols. I played him a few days ago on ladder, and we actually had Abbasid versus French, which he did a very hardcore like knight and archer push, which I then shut down, and I then tuned into his stream afterwards, you know, because it was like, okay, this is my last game of the day.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And he's like, oh, lesson learned, I'm not going to do that again. So when I saw he had French this time, I was like, oh, what's he going to do now? Like, I was quite stressed out. But yeah, I'm quite thankful he didn't go Mongols. But I don't think Abbasid lines up too badly against Mongols these days. Like
because of the rams into outposts? Or?
Yeah, I think they've got a lot of things that go pretty well. I've actually been experimenting with a lot of tower play with Abbasid in general. Like, I played a game against you as well, where you played Delhi and just offensive towers, because you're already mining the stone because you won the expo. So the fact that you have it feels a bit like Mongol in a way, which then feels really good. Then you can get like camels out or horsemen, but also the Golden Age stuff and the berry boost. I think Abbasid are legit like pretty top at the moment.
But your Abbasid in particular really impresses me, both in that in that game we played. Like, you had so many units, you've got like mangonels, it feels so like swarmy, Zerg Terran style, and I knew you're gonna make a third TC if you can get away with it. I was very surprised to see that you went for that 300 stone early. VortiX showed a more nuanced approach, 4 spears into second town center mining. You get that stone early, you're ready not to use it. Just so you've got it in the bank, you don't need to go out there anymore into that camp, and then you can throw it down immediately once you feel pressure has alleviated enough to put it down. You make good use of the arrow-slitted towers to kind of zone an area, some walls, but not a lot.
Yeah, I definitely messed up with the first tower I put down. Like, I should have put it further north, because I didn't have it in my head that I was going to make the wall there, but then I was like, that's a beautiful wall, actually. That'll stop the little, like... But then I was like, oh, damn, the tower should have been north. But it also super helps with Golden Age really fast. So like, yeah, so if you go...
Dave was pointing that.
Yeah, so it helps a lot for that boost. And then if you do play a guy that's going knights or like just a couple of archers, those little towers actually deal with everything super well. I was theory crafting with TheMista earlier, and he's very against this, but I really like wheelbarrow, especially against French, because it just helps you move your workers about a little bit faster. So
he was very anti-wheelbarrow. I was surprised.
Yeah.
You were like, you have 70 villagers. He's like, nah, son, I've done the math.
Yeah. He's like, no,
It's
you're
like,
wrong.
okay.
And I'm like, I'm not sure I am, but like, that's one of the cool things about AoE is there's so many ways of going about things, you know? Like, I was very curious why he picked Abbasid on Altai, because I was like, all right, in my head, it's either going to be Mongol, China, or English.
Yeah.
And I was okay with playing English Mirror, for sure. And I was okay with the idea of English French, or English China. But then I was kind of like, Mongol's still a bit of a weird one. So the fact that he picked Abbasid there, I was like, okay, that's good. That's a good matchup for English, mainly because of the rush distance, you know. But also, I think English just in general line up against Abbasid well with their push. And yeah, that was a really good start for me in the series. I had so many nerves going through my body. Like, I already had.
You played it so well. You didn't play it like you had nerves, though.
I had like a few cheeky beers earlier, like just to calm me down and stuff throughout the day. So that's helped. But yeah, just having a good start, and I don't think I made too many major errors. The Mongol game will haunt me a little bit, but
so let's jump to that one.
Sure.
Mongol game. You start by killing the dog, couple of outpost control. You make your way to step redoubt. Both are progressing fairly nicely. There's a bit of back and forth. You get that light chunk that moved worlds, basically denying 6 fishing boats. Eventually, he kind of shuts that down. You start your own fishing boat. He makes the weird springald. Confused us as well. You lose the Khan. He starts kind of killing some fishing boats. Suddenly, your food income evaporated.
And you had 1,700 in the bank.
Well, later, right? But
Yeah.
initially, suddenly, when the fishing boats died, you had a food problem.
Yeah, that whole game is a mess. Like in my head, like Mongol obviously have so many options, right? And I was like, okay, do I go for a dock? And then I'm like, no, let's go for a barracks. But then I'm like, but you can fish anyway, even if I kill his dock. So I had this conflicting ideas, and I was like, all right, I see his dock there. I'm gonna go for a tower in the middle, so he can't go by it. And then I was like, I'll make a dock on the other side. And then I was like, okay, now I'm gonna tower him. And it was very indecisive, the whole thing. Food problems later on. There was even moments where I'm like, I killed a few springolds with my Hulk quite a few times, you know?
Yeah.
And then a Bao Chad came out and killed a few more. And I was like, this is going well. And then he just had so much. But when I saw he went crossbows as his first unit, I was kind of like, well, if I go into barracks now, I'm just going to feel kind of crap.
Yeah.
Like
Like it's going to slow your game down too much?
I didn't really know what to do. And he obviously didn't go into spears until much later. So I was like, this shouldn't be too bad. But I just couldn't really do anything. And it was problematic too, because if I go into... I didn't see who it was. Hey up, mate. I didn't see who it was. If I go into barracks and I try and match a Roos, and it's going late game, and he has keeps and stuff for river control, and also he has the super springolds. Obviously, I can get decent springolds, but I don't know.
And he had the relics at that point, too.
Yeah, it's going to be one that I have to think about a bit, but
Sure, that's fair. Like,
Was there-
mismanaged for sure.
Was there a moment there where you were thinking about going Imperial Age and then you just realized you couldn't do it? Because it felt like you kind of stalled out production at some point.
So I had the idea that, okay, he's sticking on crossbows only and getting siege. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go a lot of horsemen. And then as soon as I did that, then he had a lot of spearmen. I was like, damn, like, you know.
You got me.
Yeah, it's like the obvious thing that he should
And
do.
you almost got trapped with them too in the
that was
side.
that was a mess. Like, but yeah, his springald count got pretty damn high, and yeah, I haven't thought about it a lot because as soon as I lost that game, I was like, okay, clean slate, let's
go next.
Yeah, exactly. Like I couldn't be lingering on it, but it's going to be one that I have to think about because Mongol's obviously so different these days, right? Like, you could basically do anything and you'd be ahead. Whereas now, I made a lot of wrong choices, which would have meant I would have been ahead, but I wasn't. Or maybe either way.
It's a little bit of a bear in trout season kind of problem. When they get so lazy, they're trying to catch the fish, but there's fish everywhere. You don't know which one to go for.
Yeah.
It's so good. Salmon season, right?
Like you do legit have so many freaking options. You know?
Yeah, but you got to pick. It's the choice paralysis out of luxury of choice. Ben, we talked a lot about these games here. Obviously, a great inaugural start here of the group stage. You've got 4 more matches coming up. Wade works out. You're going to meet someone else that has their first victory. Are there any preferences, and what would it be based on for your match tomorrow?
Not MarineLorD.
There's a French man that won today.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of grievances against